Good evening and welcome out to Tiger Stadium here in Corsicana as we've got Wildcats football in their 7th game of the regular season, the fall 2021 season, again taking on the Corsicana Tigers, and it should be a good game between two teams from District 8 5A.
Yes, Ross, we've got welcome everyone to another edition of Wildcat football, and we've got an exciting night for you. It's actually feeling a little fallish out there tonight, Ross, and so almost football weather. We've played some kind of hot games already this season, but it's 70 degrees here in Corsicana, but the wind has picked up, and it's about 13 miles per hour. You can tell as those flags are standing straight out down there, not only the American flag, Texas flag, but those little flags on the goalposts as well. So going to be an interesting night for football. I'm Chad Young with your color commentary. Of course, we have Ross Lubinsky here, ready for another great night for football. About 14 minutes to kick off. Ross, what do you want to talk about first?
Well, it's I have to talk about this Corsicana Tiger team. They come into this match 4-2. They started their season, as I was telling Chad before, they started their season 3-0, so a very hot start, but then 2 straight district losses, and they kind of reeled a bit. They were able to get the win last Friday in Greenville versus the Lions in a close match, 20-14, but unfortunately, they lost their starting quarterback who played through 6 games, and that's Adrian Baston, and Baston was injured, and so coming into this week on the scouting report, the quarterback on the week was wide receiver Jabril Douglas, number 13, and who was forced into the position by injury, as I just mentioned. But earlier on the field, getting all of the reps behind center was number 12. And number 12 being Jamarian Lewis. So a freshman quarterback will start for the Tigers tonight. And Coach Owens was saying earlier this week on Wednesday in our weekly interview that he expected Jabril Douglas to start, but he also said he wouldn't be surprised if maybe they had a young gun quarterback on their roster who could step up, and I think we might see that here tonight.
Yeah. Right, we saw him warming up down there, and it seemed to be maybe a threat in the quarterback position. So we'll just have to see who they put in there. It looks like right now it's going to be that young gun, but it could be who we thought it was going to be. The helmet for the Wildcats is getting aired up down there, and I think we're listening to the Corsicana school song right now. I'm going to turn that down a little bit so we can continue with what else is going to be on the Corsicana offense, Ross?
So Coach Owens was talking about this week that Corsicana, like Ennis, who we played a couple of weeks ago, that this is a very run-heavy attack. In fact, they run anywhere from 50 to 80% or 85% of their offensive snaps are on the ground.
Goodness.
So they are very ground and pound offense. And unfortunately, kind of what we saw in that Ennis loss is that when you have an offense that is so predicated upon the run, it just gasses your defense. It takes so much time off the clock and makes it really hard for any kind of opposing team to develop any sort of momentum. So something Coach Owens was talking about this week is that if his defense can get off the field on those 3rd and long situations and put their offense back on the field, they stay in a really good position of winning this football game. But another thing Coach Owens talked about was consistency on both sides of the ball, and that, of course, will fall upon the offense led by quarterbacks Brady Driver and Matthew Mitchell.
Right.
And so it really kind of comes down to, I think, who can get more stops and potentially who can have the ball last in this game, and they may emerge victorious.
Right, and so and as we saw in last week's game, when they kept handing it off to number 1, and he was just taking it up the middle around the end and just really like you said, gassed our defense and really made it difficult for them. The defense is going to have to step up for the Wildcats tonight. If they have as much as 85% on the ground, then the defense is really going to have to step up their game. And now, do we have any surprises or any changes on the Wildcat roster this week?
I don't believe so, but one thing definitely worth mentioning, I can't say for certain if Matthew Sherman was playing last week, but I definitely saw him suited up this week, so great to see Matthew Sherman back on the field with the Wildcats.
Oh, fantastic. And, of course, we had a change in with all the kicking last week, and Uriel Santa Cruz had played most of the games and done most of the kicking, the place kicking, the kickoffs, the punting, all that, up until this last game, and then there were some changes there. If you can explain that for me again, Ross.
So as I was talking about with Coach Owens last Saturday on the coaches show, I asked him about the kickers, and Josh Tavera kind of got injured either before the season or right leading up to the season. So just as you were mentioning, kicker Uriel Santa Cruz stepped up and was the kicker for the last couple of games. In fact, almost all of the games. But it wasn't until last week that he became injured. So Osvaldo Arellano stepped up and assumed the kicking positions, and that was something that was kind of put on him at the last minute last week. But he did a very serviceable job. I don't believe he missed a single extra point, and so good to see a player step up and perform. That's something that Coach Greg Owens loves to see.
Right, and I think we had a change in the punter position as well. I think we had some different, and they've got a lot of different options in punting. So anyway, just a lot of a few changes. Not a lot of changes. So it could be a good game here tonight. We're in Corsicana. We've made that long drive in our J. Hodge Chevrolet Tahoe tonight, and we thank them for that. It's Foxtober over at J. Hodge Chevrolet, Foxtober, and that's where every vehicle comes with a free Carfax report. So a promotion that they're running over there, as well as another promotion that they're giving some money to United Way, and I'll talk more about that later on in the game. But I can't go any further with this broadcast without mentioning the community, the Wildcats and the KSST community all have lost a wonderful friend in Mr. David Balcom this past week. He passed away last Friday. He was a friend of the Wildcats, a friend of and an advertiser at KSST, of course a deacon at the Baptist Church, and passed away this past week. Also the father-in-law of Coach Greg Owens. So really hits close to home here during the football game. So we'll certainly miss him and thank him for all of his hard work and support throughout his lifetime in this football community. We're going to take a quick break. We've got about 8 minutes until kickoff here at Tiger Stadium in Corsicana, and we'll be back in just a moment.
Welcome back to Tiger Stadium here in Corsicana, as we've got Wildcats football coming up in just under 7 minutes on the warm-up clock before these two teams take the field. The Wildcats already in the Wildcat helmet on the far side of the field, getting ready to take the field. Corsicana still in their athletic field house, still talking with their head coach, Hal Wasson. And but prior to coaching in Corsicana, Hal Wasson was actually head coach at South Lake Carroll, winning the state championship back in 2011. But Hal Wasson, this is a man who's from the area. He was born in Cairns, attended Navarro Junior College right here in Corsicana, and then also was on the Corsicana staff from 1982 to 1986. So I'm sure it wasn't a tough decision at all for him to return back, and he's really enjoyed Corsicana. They did stumble to 5th last year. This is a tradition-rich program, but they're looking to return to the playoffs. And they've got a lot of weapons that I guess I can go ahead and go through. Quarterback, as I mentioned, was supposed to be Jabril Douglas coming into this week, but instead it's Jamarian Lewis, number 12, who's a freshman, so could present some interesting opportunities for Coach Kurt McCain and his defense to kind of dial up the pressure and kind of keep him on his toes. But then running backs, you've got Anthony Young Jr. and Kedrick Armstrong. And again, this is an offense that relies so heavily on the run. 50 to 85%, Coach Owens estimates, of all their offensive snaps are on the run. So expect us to call those names a lot. Then wide receiver, they've got Pete Ruiz, Demarius Daniels, and Jet Jones. At tight end, Matthew Lopez. And then the offensive linemen for the Corsicana Tigers are Angel Areola, Juan Garcia, Ryan Reeves, Cam McFadden, and Angel Ramos. And the Corsicana Tigers, as I mentioned earlier, are led by head coach Hal Wasson as the Wildcat football team takes the field.
Not a big turnout yet for the Wildcat fans in the stands over there. If you're looking for this game on our YouTube streaming channel, unfortunately you will not find it tonight. This is the only way to hear the broadcast live is through KSST 1230 AM, as we have to get permission from just about everyone involved, and the Corsicana Tigers did not give us permission to live stream the game tonight on YouTube. So we'll be, of course, broadcasting on the radio, and then we'll replay that on YouTube on Channel 18 and all, like we normally do after the game.
Corsicana about set to take the field, so while they're getting set to do it now, they've got the fog machines all ready as they start to make their way onto the field. The home team, the Corsicana Tigers, led by head coach Hal Wasson, have taken the field, and Corsicana, they have a pretty similar uniform to the Wildcats, and they've also, unfortunately, for those up here who are trying to call the game, they've got blue and yellow as well, so kind of presented an interesting opportunity for the Wildcats to don a new uniform, in that they are wearing all white uniforms and yellow helmets. So as far as I know, that's the first time they've donned this outfit all year, and pretty clean outfit for the Sulphur Springs Wildcats, led by head coach Greg Owens. And since Corsicana just took the field, we've got about 3.5 minutes to go. I'll go ahead and go through the starting 11 for the Wildcats. Sulphur Springs, as we all know, on their offensive line are led by Drew Hodges, Sean Dial. At center, Jacoby Yarbrough, right guard Carlos Alba, and right tackle Connor West. Stadium's gotten real quiet, so we should have this national anthem coming up here shortly, or perhaps the team prayer. But then the key players for the Wildcats are Landon Fields, Luke Hayton, quarterbacks Matthew Mitchell, Brady Driver, the running back committee J.J. Hall, Malachi Rowland, Douglas Deloney, slot wide receiver C.J. Williams and Reed Williams, and then on the outside, Weston Fields and Adam Peckham. The Wildcats football team are led by head coach and athletic director Greg Owens.
They have a presentation of the colors here, as we've got, I'm not sure if it's the National Guard or
JROTC.
I got you. They've got the JROTC on the field there. We've got another American flag and Texas flag. We've got some other members of that squad down in the far end zone. Wind's going to be a factor tonight, I think. Ross, these flags are really whipping around, and it's going to be fantastic passes going one way and not so much going the other way.
Yeah, and then before we get the national anthem here coming up in here in just a moment, one thing Coach Owens did also say, and that he stressed in previous weeks, is this team just can't settle for field goals, and just like you were talking about with all this wind, they might not be able to settle for field goals tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. Still, I'm not sure. There's actually a very soft a cappella group performing down on the track that's around the field. I think that's the precursor to the national anthem here, coming up at any time. A minute and a half left on the pregame clock here, waiting for the kickoff. Blue Blazes on the field. They welcome the Wildcats onto the field, and of course, man oh man, that Wildcat band is up in the visitor stands, so we'll have a real good view of their performance at halftime as we're up here in the nosebleed section. This is probably one of the highest press boxes anywhere in our district or anywhere in the area. I've got thought they were going to have to bring us in by helicopter to get us up here, but big elevator to get us up to the top floor here. Nice press box, but just doesn't compare to that wonderful facility at Gerald Prim Stadium that we love to brag about. And of course, the culinary department at Sulphur Springs High School is also second to none. We get to travel around and get fed by many of these teams, and there's no one better than the culinary department of the Sulphur Springs Wildcats. Hard to hear the a cappella group there. They're going into extra innings there, I think, Ross. And here comes the national anthem.
As the junior ROTC presents our colors.
Like we said, that's the presentation of the colors by the junior ROTC. About 350 fans here on the Corsicana side so far. It's a long line of traffic coming in. Still, we can see off in the distance with our wonderful view here in the stratosphere. So a lot of people yet to come to the game. And a very powerful rendition of the national anthem there, Ross. Looked like by a high school student there on the field, Corsicana. So it's going to be time to come out for the coin toss. I've got number 9, number 6, number 25, and for the Wildcats from the team captains, and number 19. So 6, Colby Albritton.
Oh, wow. This is the first time all season long. I know you guys can't see this, but the entire Wildcat football team has walked onto the field linked arms. But
right.
Then, of course, you've got the 4 Wildcat captains that Chad was just mentioning. That's number 9, J.J. Hall. Number
6, Colby Albritton.
Right.
Yep.
And then number 25,
yep,
Madison Martin, who had an stellar game last week on defense. And I believe that's number 15, Brady Driver.
Let's see. I think that's going to be 19.
19.
Yeah.
That's Aiden Rogers, a senior. And I believe that's the first time we've seen Aiden Rogers on the field as a captain. So congratulations to him on being named a captain for this week, if not for a longer period than that. But great to see the Wildcats walk out arm in arm. It's a powerful sight.
Yep, and of course, this is the part I love. The officials are explaining the way the coin toss works to the players, and getting ready. They're showing the coin heads and tails as well. There's another official down there in a black shirt, I guess, explaining more of the rules. Have 3 captains on the Corsicana side. Got number 13, number 26, and number 40 on the Corsicana side, and they're about to still again explaining the coin toss way that's going to work. I've got my trusty binoculars out here, Ross, because we're way up here.
One thing that should definitely be stressed going into this game is that the Wildcat football team in a number of weeks, perhaps it could be due to the fact that they played a lot of the 5A DFW Metroplex schools in the Lovejoy and the Frisco, even saw that kind of in Kaufman. The Wildcats roster was about half the size of a lot of these opponents, but it looks like from a number standpoint, it looks to be about even between these two teams.
Yes, and one of the team captains on the out for the coin toss is number 13. I think that's one of the quarterback options for tonight. And then I have 26 and 40. I don't have them on my offensive roster. Probably some defensive players.
Yeah, you're exactly right. The captain, 13, who we expected to see in at quarterback tonight, who we may see some of at quarterback, but predominantly he's a wide receiver. That's Jabril Douglas, number 13.
Right.
Number 26, that's Chris DeGrate. He's a defensive back. And then
Number 40.
Number 40.
Yeah.
Couldn't really tell because
I'm sorry, they just turned sideways. Yeah.
But number 40, that's Jesus Mendoza, and rightfully so. He's named the captain because he leads the Tigers in tackles on defense.
Corsicana Tigers have won the toss. Of course, they've deferred, and that means the Wildcats will get the ball in the J. Hodge Chevrolet kickoff this first half. And they put them on the right end of the field, so they'll be moving right to left on us for this first quarter. And that, of course, means that they're going to be going into the wind for the first quarter, and the Corsicana Tigers. I would imagine when they come out for this kickoff that it's going to be booted right out of the end zone because they've got a lot of help from this wind tonight. The kicker for the Corsicana Tigers is number 16. They have a lot of kickers on their roster, but that's Giovanni Torres is going to be the kicker for the place kicking for the kickoff, and then of course back for the Wildcats all the way back about on the 10-yard line. I've got number 10 and number 6 as well. So for the Wildcats.
That's interesting. Number 10, Matthew Mitchell, the quarterback, is in taking the taking the kickoff, and he gets it, takes it all the way up to the 25-yard line. So normally we see Landon Fields at number 6, Colby Albrecht.
Right, yes, absolutely. And so I checked that twice to make sure I had that correctly. I got out my trusty binoculars there, and yes, indeed, that was Matthew Mitchell taking the kickoff and doing a good job running it back. He got up to about the 25-yard line, and that's where the Wildcats are going to start their drive. Moving right to left here, first and 10 for the Wildcats on their own 25-yard line.
So Matthew Mitchell, after taking the kickoff, interestingly enough, and getting it kicked to him and returning it back to the 25, as Chad was just talking about, after all that, it's starting in at quarterback is number 15, Brady Driver.
Yes.
And he hands it off, or fakes the handoff, and takes it right up the middle and is able to get about 4 yards on the first rush for the first play from scrimmage for the Wildcats. So not a bad start.
I just always like when Greg Owens changes things up and has somebody else running the ball and just always changing it up. I just always love that, and we have that tonight as Brady Driver's in as quarterback for this drive at least.
I couldn't help but think on that kickoff when Matthew Mitchell was back there, I couldn't help but think that maybe he would get the ball and then kind of backwards lateral it as Brady Driver dishes it out to number 5, C.J. Williams, and he fumbles it. He fumbles the ball at the Wildcat 25-yard line. Wow.
And what are they going to call that? They're going to say it was an incomplete pass, I believe.
No, looks like the call will stand. A fumble.
Yep, they're going to call it a fumble, and it was recovered by Corsicana. So that's going to give Corsicana a fantastic field position right down on the Wildcat 25 as they're going to come out for their first and 10. With the benefit of the wind, they can throw they can throw a screen pass all the way into the end zone right now. So, and coming in for them on quarterback is indeed number 13's lined up as over in the slot over there.
So number 12, the quarterback, gets the snap, and he gives it off to his running back, and he's quickly broken a number of tackles and is inside the 20-yard line for the Wildcats. So just like that, they're able to get pretty close to a first down. It looks like it'll be about a 9-yard gain from the first play from scrimmage for Corsicana.
And that the number taking the snap on that one was number 2. So they've changed things up on us yet again. So number 2 in for in the quarterback position for the Corsicana Tigers. Second and 1.
And he hands it off to fakes a handoff to number 19. Number 2 takes it up himself behind center and is able to get more than enough yardage necessary for the first down. In fact, he got about 5 on the rush. So will be a new set of downs for the Corsicana Tigers, and it's first and 10 from, it looks, about the Wildcat 12-yard line.
So a lot of personnel changes here on both sides. They're kind of changing it up as well for us on the Corsicana Tiger side.
I believe still in at quarterback is number 2, Dante Thomas, who's normally the running back, and he hands it off again. And the running back is very patient, kind of waiting for his blocks to develop, but is able to push his way forward thanks to his offensive line for what should be about a 3-yard gain on the play.
And certainly number 46 for the Wildcat defense was really instrumental in wrapping him up and getting him pushed off. That's Carson Fenton for the Wildcats. So still a pretty big gain for the Tigers, though. As would they get 4 yards there?
Looks to be so. 2nd and 6 from the Wildcat. Doesn't say on that scoreboard, but on the Wildcat 13-yard line, or the 8-yard line, I'm sorry. And number 2, Dante Thomas, hands it off again, and the running back is able to scream his way forward for a touchdown. That was number 6, Kedrick Armstrong, on the touchdown run for 8 yards to the house.
So very quickly, the Wildcats had turned over the ball, unfortunately, and so with 10:29 left in the first quarter, it's already 6-0. The Wildcats are down 6-0, awaiting the extra point from the Corsicana Tigers. I'll get the number of the place kicker here for you. Number 8 holding the ball for the Tigers.
That's number 16 who delivered the kick, and his kick is good. So just like that, it is a 7-0 lead for the Corsicana Tigers just over a minute into this game.
We'll take a quick break, and we'll be back with the kickoff in just a moment.
Welcome back to Tiger Stadium here in Corsicana as the Wildcats quickly fumbled the ball thanks to C.J. Williams, but they do have the ball back after the ensuing kickoff from a Corsicana touchdown. And once again, Matthew Mitchell gets the kickoff and takes it back. He gets to what should be about what originally looked like about the 20-yard line, but it looks like they'll walk it back a couple of yards. Looks to be about the 18-yard line of the Sulphur Springs side of the field, and that's where the Wildcats will start their second drive of the game. Again, on the previous drive, the first drive of the game, the Wildcats had a turnover on a C.J. Williams fumble, so I know Coach Owens wants to feed C.J. the ball as much as possible, but definitely didn't draw up a fumble on the second play of the drive. But quarterback Brady Driver gets the snap, and he hands it off to his running back. I can't tell who that was, but he was able to kind of push his way forward for not a whole lot of yardage on the gain, as he was the defense was quick to swarm up the line of scrimmage and for about a 1-yard gain.
Number 8.
Malachi Rowland on the rush. So
yes,
always good to see him on the field as he's become something of a workhorse for this Wildcat football team. And after the 1-yard rush by Malachi Rowland, it will be a 2nd and 9 for this Sulphur Springs offense. Again, in that quarterback is Brady Driver. Tight end sweeps left, fakes the handoff, and he's looking deep. He's got a man. And wow, he got him. He beat him. 45, 40, 35, 30, 25, 20, 15, 10, 5. Touchdown, Wildcats.
Well, and Northeast Texas Farmers Co-op says, way to go, Wildcats, as he put it in the end zone. Just a bomb of a pass, and the receiver just outran his defender there. A great play by Weston Fields as he gets down the field and puts 6 more points on the board for the Wildcats. The 6 original points there. So this could tie it up. We've got the kicker in here. Let's see who's kicking for the Wildcats. Number 20. The extra point awaits.
Extra kick is up, and it's good. So we've got a tie game here, 7-all.
Only 9:33 left in this first quarter, and it's already tied up 7-7, the Wildcats against the Corsicana Tigers. We'll take a quick break, and we'll be back in just a moment.
Welcome back to Corsicana here at Tiger Stadium as the Wildcats football team got a very, I don't want to say easy touchdown, but the quarterback on the drive, number 15, Brady Driver, was able to dish out a beautiful ball to number 16, Weston Fields, and then after Weston Fields was able to make the catch, he made a nice move to make the defender fall down, which allowed him to go 81 yards to the house. And after the ensuing extra point, we've got a tie game here at 7-all.
Here comes the J. Hodge Chevrolet kickoff. The Wildcats are going to be kicking off, of course, to the Corsicana Tigers with one lone. They don't believe in our kicker because they're standing back about the 17-yard line. They know he's kicking into the wind, and I think we've got same. No, this is number 31 is going to be doing the kickoff. So the Wildcats. Just a great play on that last drive.
Absolutely, and something we haven't seen a whole lot of in previous weeks was a lot of A lot of those deep balls, just the timing wasn't right. Perhaps a defender kind of disrupted the wide receiver at the line of scrimmage. But we saw it last week. Brady Driver was able to connect with Weston Fields for a 29-yard touchdown. But again, on the previous drive, he delivered what had to be at least a 30-yard beautiful rainbow pass to Weston Fields, who was able to make a nice athletic move to get past the defender and go all the way to the house. So a tied ball game here. Corsicana taking the field now for their second offensive drive of the game.
Looks like the same quarterback in for Corsicana as we're here in the stratosphere again.
So number 2 fakes the handoff, takes it up himself, and goes straight up the gut for a nice quick rush and a lot of speed by that player, number 2, as he takes it about 6, maybe 7 yards on first down.
Yeah, good run, but I just have to say that Weston Fields, he just had man-to-man coverage on that play on that last drive, and just beat his defender. I would imagine they're going to double up on him here pretty quick when the Wildcats get back on offense.
So a 2nd and 4 for the Corsicana offense after a 6-yard rush from number 2, and he hands it off. That's number 6. Kedrick Armstrong, who had the touchdown on the previous Corsicana drive, and he's able to get 4 yards, enough for the first down. So 2 plays and a new set of downs for the Tigers offense, and nice way to start this second drive, and a nice response, of course, after giving up a hugely explosive touchdown. I mean, Coach Owen said on the coaches show last Saturday that they consider an explosive play to be 20 yards. Chad, I think 81 yards fits that bill.
Oh yeah, that's a fantastic pass. That's certainly going to be our offensive play of the season so far. And I don't, we haven't seen the Tigers pass yet, have we?
I don't think we have. And number 2 takes it up the gut again, but he is swarmed up by the Wildcats defense. And we got some extracurricular pushing, but he will get about a 2-yard rush on the gains, a 2-yard gain on the rush.
Right.
And so that'll make it 2nd and 8 for the Tiger offense. And something I talked about before this game got underway was that Coach Owen said on those 3rd and longs and just 3rd down in general, this Wildcat defense really needs to do better about getting some stops and getting off the field.
That was Cordarian Turner that wrapped up the quarterback there, and the quarterback didn't like it too much, was doing a little shoving, but they separated, and we're back here for 2nd down. 2nd and 8, the Tigers on their own 44-yard line.
So Dante Thomas again behind center, and looks like he handed off to his running back, who took it up the gut and is able to get, well, about 10 yards on the rush.
It was number... we go with 19 on the carry. He's got his shirt rolled up, and it could be 18.
Yeah, these.
I can't tell you how far up we are.
We're up here in the ionosphere.
It's past the stratosphere, the ionosphere. 7:08 left in the first quarter. 7-7. Wildcats tied it up.
So after the rush for no gain on, the down sign says, okay, we got 1st and 10 for the Corsicana offense, and once again, the quarterback on the play, number 2, Dante Thomas, took it himself and maybe got a yard. It looks like it'll be 2nd and 9 for the Tiger offense.
Yeah, you say the quarterback that they have in, number 2, is normally a running back, right? So they're kind of doing that Wildcat formation like we do sometimes, but they've done it every play where as soon as he snaps the ball, it's a 50-50 shot whether he's just going to keep it or not. Sometimes it works out for him, sometimes not so much. Like on that one, barely got a yard. It's going to be 2nd and 9. They're just inside Wildcat territory on the Wildcat 44-yard line.
So number 2, Dante Thomas, was the quarterback up until this point, but we got another player in, and that's number 12. And number 12 got the snap and was looking to pass it. Had a couple of options deep, but he kind of tripped and fell after getting the snap. It looked like maybe after getting touched or hit by a Wildcat defender, so he will be ruled dead where he fell down, as opposed to him taking off as he tried to do. So it'll be a 3rd and 15. So as I was talking about, a great opportunity for this Wildcat defense to get a huge stop and get off the field.
Yes, that pushes them back right to midfield. They're right on the 50-yard line. So a big, long 3rd and 15. It's crunch time.
And we've got, looks like a man offense, and it might come back to hurt the Wildcat defense, but it will not, because the Corsicana Tigers, they got some pretty good yardage on that play, close to 10 yards at about 8 yards, but on a 3rd and 15, nowhere near enough for the first down, so punt team coming on for the Corsicana Tigers.
A great stop by the Wildcat defense. Having to dial it up here late in the season with some very powerful teams. We've got the number 1 back to receive the punt, it looks like, for the Wildcats. I'm sorry, number 4.
Yeah, I told Chad that was number 1, but instead it's number 4, Colt Silman, who goes back deep. He's all the way back at his own 5-yard line, starts taking it back. He's got a couple of blockers, but it doesn't look like he'll have quite the lane as he's pushed out of bounds on the far sideline at the Wildcat 20-yard line. Pretty
good punt, like we said. The wind's helping the Corsicana Tigers this first quarter, which is only 4 minutes and 41 seconds left in this first quarter, and then the Wildcats will get the help with the wind when we switch ends of the fields. It's tied up 7-7 as the Wildcats come out for their Hooten's Hardware first down. They're going to be starting about their own 19-yard line. It's 1st and 10 for the Wildcats, and I'm going to get my binoculars and tell you who's in for. Going to be Brady Driver again for quarterback.
So I guess Coach Owens likes what he's seen from Driver, both in this game up to this point and last week as well. And Driver looking, and he's got a wide receiver on the outside. I believe that was,
Weston, yep.
Weston Fields again, number 16, who was able to get a number of yardage on the catch, but was pushed out of bounds at about the 24-yard line. So it'll be a gain of, scoreboard says 5, so we'll call it 5.
Yes, I thought they would kind of double cover him over there, and they've got somebody else over close by to help cover. No, he's coming up.
And wow, number 15, Brady Driver takes the handoff and is able to take it on the outside going right and is able to get pretty close to the yardage necessary for the first down, but it looks like he'll be marked just about a yard or 2 short, so it'll be a 3rd and 2 at the Wildcat 27-yard line.
This Wildcat offense kind of changing it up here and doing well. Number 1 leaving the field for the Wildcat offense. I didn't see who came on. Obviously, Weston Fields a big threat against the Tigers, but in a rush formation for this play.
Wow, that was a very much so a heavy formation that the Wildcats brought into the field, as they had at least 5 offensive linemen and a number of B-backs and tight ends, so they were going run all the way, but a timeout is called by the Corsicana head coach, Hal Wasson, so we're going to take a timeout with them, and when we return, we'll see if the Wildcats football team can convert the first down.
Tiger Stadium here where the Wildcats have tied it up 7-7 with 3:58 left on the clock for the first quarter, and that was I don't think the head coach for the Tigers liked what he saw there. The Wildcats were all lined up like a goal line rush there. They were all bunched up and no receivers. It looks like they're coming back for the same formation, and maybe the Tigers have made some kind of adjustments there, but they're just trying to get this short 3rd and 2 to get a new set of downs for the Wildcats.
Really scrunched up to the line of scrimmage, the Tigers are, but the running back there, it looks like maybe he might have gotten close to the first down, but they'll mark him a yard short at the 28-yard line for the Wildcats football team on the Sulphur Springs side of the 50. So decision time for Coach Greg Owens and his program, and it looks like
they're going for it. Yeah. So, and that was Douglas Deloney on the carry, and they just stood him up. And then now they thought the punt team was coming out. Now, no, they've got the rush in, so they're keeping the quarterback in there. Number 15's in, and they're coming back up to the line. We got Deloney in the backfield, and same kind of tight formation.
And Douglas Deloney, it looks like he got the yardage necessary, and he sure will, as it's spotted at the Wildcat 30-yard line, but we've got a flag thrown, a late flag, so could be some unsportsmanlike conduct here from hard to tell which team it's going to be against.
Yeah, there's kind of some pushing and shoving there. Let's see if we get the mics from the refs. He's walking it back toward the Wildcats, looks like. Kind of facing that way, isn't he?
Yeah, it's hard to say because I figured maybe it would be against Corsicana.
After the play, unsportsmanlike conduct, number 62 of the offense, unsportsmanlike conduct, number 23 of the defense. Those penalties offset, first down.
So the Wildcats got that first down, yes.
Yes, and then unsportsmanlike penalties called on both teams, so they will offset. So the Wildcats keep their first down at the Sulphur Springs 30-yard line. So after a bit of extracurricular activities from both of these teams, we're about to get ready to get this drive back underway. Brady Driver still in as quarterback, and he fakes the handoff. He's sweeping left. He looks like he might have some options, but instead he's got to roll out with it. And Landon Fields coming in with a nice block on the outside to allow his quarterback to get a few extra yards on the outside. So it will be a 9-yard rush for Brady Driver.
Yeah, great scrambling there, and he just took it up, almost got the first down, got popped pretty good as he was stepping out of bounds, but they didn't call that. It was right about the time he stepped out of bounds. That was the Hooten's Hardware first down, and here comes the Hooten's Hardware second down as the Wildcats it's moving quickly.
And they got some Tigers to jump the snap, but he's looking Landon Fields all the way. Oh, and he had him. If it weren't for a defender coming in at the last second to break it up, it would have been a first down on the opposite side of the field, probably about the 35-yard line of Corsicana, but instead they will gladly accept the encroachment penalty, which will give them an automatic first down at 2nd and 1.
Yes, that wonderful free play that they get, and everybody was in on it. As there was offsides and the flag was thrown as the play ran, but they got to run the play since it was against the defense. And Brady Driver very smartly launched it downfield, but just couldn't come up with it. Here's the Hooten's Hardware first down at the Wildcat 44-yard line.
In the backfield with Brady Driver is number 9, J.J. Hall, who he hands it off to, and he makes a nice number of cuts to kind of keep his momentum, but also not being able to be tackled up by some Corsicana Tiger defenders. And the second and third moves by Hall didn't amount to a whole lot. He was able to get 3 yards on the first down rush, so it will be a 2nd and 7 for this Wildcat offense. Still in at running back is number 9, J.J. Hall, who moves far on the outside from quarterback Brady Driver, and he's sweeping on the flat, but instead he delivers it again to Weston Fields, and he delivered the ball all the way from the 47-yard line on the Wildcat side of the field to the Corsicana 40, so it will be a 13-yard gain for a first down for the Wildcats.
Yes, another Hooten's Hardware first down. They're into Tiger territory now on the Tiger 40-yard line, and Weston Fields has got to be a favorite target for Brady Driver tonight.
So after some motion from the B-back, he hands it off again to J.J. Hall, who breaks through a number of defenders and is in the backfield before you know it as he got a 15-yard rush on first down.
Yeah, fantastic run there by J.J. Hall as he just went straight up the middle, and some great blocking by the Wildcat offensive line there to make a hole for him.
So after the 15-yard rush from J.J. Hall, the ball is moved all the way to the Corsicana 25-yard line. And on top of that, the Wildcats have had the ball for over 3 minutes now. So as we were talking about coming into this game, Corsicana loves to run and consume as much clock as possible, but the Wildcats giving them a taste of their own medicine. Brady Driver gets the snap. He's looking Weston Fields all the way in the end zone. Will he get him? Oh, and it's broken up at the last second by defender. He wanted a flag on the play, but he will not get one.
Yes, even from here in the ionosphere, I could see that was some pass interference. That Corsicana Tiger was all over Weston Fields, but the yellow flag did not come out, so it's going to be 2nd down and 10 at the Tiger 25-yard line. The Wildcats are taking their time. They've got plenty of time here. 1 minute 21 left in the quarter.
Looks like Driver's got number 9, J.J. Hall in the backfield with him, and he fakes the handoff. He takes it himself to the 20, to the 15, all the way inside the 15 to what should be about, yes, the Corsicana 12-yard line.
Well, a great 13-yard gain by the quarterback keeper there. Driver's really doing a great job in changing it up and getting scrambling and getting some yardage out of it.
So after the 2nd down and 10 run from Brady Driver, goes 13 yards for a new first down at the 12-yard line of Corsicana. He hands it off to J.J. Hall again, who got about looks like about 3 yards on the rush, so we'll be about a 2nd and 7 upcoming for this Wildcat offense.
They can still get a new set of downs here. They're deep in the red zone on their Tiger 9-yard line, but just have 7 yards to get a first down, so they can put them right on the goal line. just taking their time. 33 seconds and counting on the game clock for this first quarter.
Wildcats, no doubt, thinking touchdown all the way here. Perhaps not on this play, but on this drive. Driver looking to Weston Fields.
Nope,
no, that's C.J.
five.
Williams. So Williams is able to redeem himself for the fumble on the second play for the Wildcat offense on the night. And he's able to take it, I believe, what was 12 yards to the end zone.
Well, let's see. It was started on the 12, then they had gotten a few yards there. It was about 9. It's going to be about a 9-yard reception for him. And Northeast Texas Farmers Co-op says, way to go, Wildcats, as they put 6 more points on the board. And as we await for the extra point.
Ariana's kick is up. And it looks like it's good, and it is. So the Wildcat football team have taken the lead at 14-7 with just under 30 seconds to go here in the first quarter.
We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be back in just a moment. And we're back at Tiger Stadium in Corsicana, where the Wildcats are up 14-7 over the Corsicana Tigers, with only 20 seconds left on the in the first quarter here. They're still going to come out since the Wildcats have just scored. They're going to enjoy kicking off the J. Hodge Chevrolet kickoff. Still into the wind, unfortunately, and that means that their receivers are only going to be standing on his own 20-yard line as they're lined up here to kick off. You think an onside kick? He's kind of looking for it there, but.
Yeah, an interesting formation they've got, but they'll kick it deep, and he's able to kick it all the way to inside the 25-yard line. Bit of a stutter step there from the returner, and he's able to get close to the 40-yard line of the Corsicana side of the field, but looks like he'll be marked short. Looks like they'll spot it at right about the 34-yard line.
Yes, and a great tackle there by Brayden Morris for the Wildcats, the special teams player, number 12. He just a kind of a one-handed tackle there, just saved the Wildcats defense from some worse field position, as he didn't let that Corsicana Tiger get very far. The Tigers will be starting their drive on their own 34-yard line.
So pretty similar to their spotting on the last drive when they started at their own 32, but that play that drive, as we know, ended at the 50-yard line with a punt. So no doubt they're going to be looking for different results here as they trail 14-7. But it looks like a timeout has been called because I assume time was running out on the play clock.
Yes, and so we're going to take a timeout with them. We'll take a short break, and we'll be back for Wildcat football here in just a moment.
Welcome back to Tiger Stadium here in Corsicana as we have the Tigers back on offense on their third drive of the game. Their first drive went to the house and they were able to get a touchdown, but their last drive ended with a punt, and they couldn't even get one play off before having to call a timeout due to what could have amounted to a delay of game penalty, but instead it'll remain a 1st and 10 for the Tiger offense. And on the first play, number 2, Dante Thomas, tries to keep it himself and fakes the handoff, but the Wildcat defense was all too ready for it. Oh, wow, and it looks like there was a fumble on the play. Somehow, some way, Corsicana Tiger was able to come up with it, pushed out of bounds before getting pretty close to the first down necessary, as it was they'll give him 9 yards on the play, so we'll be a 2nd and 1.
Number 2 dropped it for the Tigers, and number 7 picked it up. That's Keontae Thomas for the Tigers, and he saved them and got them a few extra yards.
So after the heads-up play there by Thomas, they'll have a 2nd and 1. And he does hand it off. I believe that's number 19 running on the outside to the near sideline. And he looks like he'll have just about the yardage necessary for the first down, and he will, as that'll give the Tigers a new set of downs, and it'll end the first quarter as the Wildcats football team lead the Corsicana Tigers here in Corsicana 14-7.
We're going to switch into the field on this quarter break, and we'll be back in just a moment.
Welcome back to Tiger Stadium here in Corsicana as the Tigers have the ball on their third offensive drive of the game. They had similar starting field position as their previous drive. They started their own drive at their own 34. Previous drive was 32. And pretty close to where the drive ended for them last time, right around midfield.
Yes, and they're still in their own territory. They're getting pretty close to knocking on the door of the Wildcat territory. The Tigers are now moving right to left as we start this second quarter, and they've moved the ball a little bit down the field and gotten a lucky break on recovering their own fumble and advancing it.
Dante Thomas in at quarterback still, and he hands it off to number 19 again, who's running to the near sideline, but it looks like he'll be tripped up right about the line of scrimmage, so no yardage on the game.
Fantastic tackle there by the Wildcat Carson Fenton as he wrapped him up. In the background, took him down. He made a little forward progress, and so they're going to call it no gain. It's going to be 2nd and 10 for the Tigers on their own 44-yard line.
I know Carson Fenton probably would have liked on that play to get that wrap up right behind the line of scrimmage, so he would have gotten a recorded tackle for loss, but instead he'll settle for a rush of no gain, so it will be a 2nd and 10. And with this Tiger offense, as they, again, have not thrown the ball once in this game yet, could be kind of tough if the Wildcats can pin them to a 3rd and long, 2nd and long, and fakes 2 handoffs. He takes it off himself. He's going to the near sideline, but is tripped out of bounds pretty close to midfield at about the 46-yard line is where they'll spot him.
That looked like that was going to be a dangerous play there against the Wildcats, but Braden, number 12, Braden Morris, said no more yardage as he wrapped him up, pulling him out of bounds. And so they're going to call that back, just about a 2-yard gain, it looks like.
So this is
marking it back at the 46. Sorry.
No, you're fine. I was just going to more or less repeat what I was talking about before the previous play, and just that, again, if the Wildcats can kind of pin them to a 3rd and 8 like what they have now, they could really cripple this Tiger offense, who kind of struggling to find some rhythm, especially in the passing game. They've yet to pass the ball once.
Yeah, and they have 3 receivers on this play.
And here's the pass. Number 12 passes it, and he has a pretty nice throw to his slot wide receiver on the slant route, but he'll be tackled 1 yard short of the yardage necessary for the first down, but the Tiger offense staying on the field as they have crossed into Sulphur Springs territory.
Yeah, they're on the Wildcat 47-yard line. That was Riley Hammonds that wrapped up that receiver and pinned him to the ground for the shortage of the first down, so it's 4th and 1.
Big 4th down here for the Wildcat defense, and they just couldn't get to the running back in time before he got the handoff, before he got just 3 yards, but he only needed 1, so a new set of downs for this Tiger offense.
That was Madison Martin on the tackle there. He came out of nowhere and just couldn't get him to him fast enough, and pulled him down. Like you said, a 3-yard gain. A good tackle, good defensive move by the Wildcats, but they didn't hold him on 3rd down. It's 1st and 10 for the Tigers on the Wildcat 44-yard line.
Wildcat showing blitz, and won't matter as the number 12, Jamarian Lewis, is able to dish it out to his slot wide receiver. That was number 8 on a quick slant route as he was able to get, 5 yards on the play.
Colt Silman on the tackle for the Wildcats.
So after the 5-yard reception by number 8, Connor Means, a player to watch out for in this game. Might not be calling his name a whole bunch as long as the Tigers are perhaps a bit hesitant to pass the ball, but a nice couple of throws by number 12, the quarterback on this drive, Jamarian Lewis. Again, a freshman quarterback for the Tigers, and he tries to dish it out on a wide receiver screen on the outside, but he just didn't have the throw. Perhaps had a little bit of pressure in his face, and so the pass was incomplete. It'll be a 3rd and 5 for this Tiger offense.
Another opportunity for the Wildcat defense to hold them. And like we were talking about before the game, we were watching that young man warm up for the Tigers. He was very accurate and throwing very good passes on the warm up, but we weren't sure about how he would do under pressure.
So the ball has been walked backwards. It was a 3rd and 5, but now it's been pushed back 5 yards. So
it's still 3rd down.
So I guess it's a 3rd and 10 now for this. Wow, and that was a weird set of events.
Right, yeah, the quarterback didn't even look at the ball as it got snapped and went past him. So the Corsicana Tigers have taken a timeout. They didn't like what they saw there, and they called that timeout just in time, I think, because that was a strange play, a strange setup, and they snapped the ball. They didn't even get close to the quarterback who was out in the backfield. We're going to take a very quick break, and we'll be back in just a moment.
Welcome back to Tiger Stadium here in Corsicana as the Tigers have the ball for their third offensive drive of this game. We have just started, well, we haven't just started the second quarter, but we have 9.5 minutes to go until halftime, so 2.5 minutes into the second quarter, the Tigers do have the ball, but it is a 3rd and 10 on the Wildcat 44-yard line, so potential huge stop opportunity for Coach Kurt McCain and his D.
They've got 2 receivers on each side for the Corsicana Tigers throwing into the wind. They haven't thrown with the wind in the first quarter. They finally decided to throw second.
Number 12, Jamarian Lewis, looking at his running back, number 19, all the way. That was Demarius Daniels. I'm sorry, that's a wide receiver. And he looked like he had a chance to come down with it, but the throw wasn't as accurate as Jamarian Lewis was looking for, so it will be a punt situation coming up for the Tigers.
Yeah, I'm not sure if that was a bad throw or a bad route, but they certainly didn't connect, and he tried to turn around and go one way to get the ball, and the ball was going the other way. So great stop by the Wildcat defense as it's punt time for the Tigers.
And number 11, the kicker, gets the ball, and he's able to get it away. Number 4, Colt Silman on the return. He got it inside the 5, and he takes it all the way to about the 30-yard line. It looks like he'll probably be put closer to the 25, but we'll see in the spotting coming up here in a moment. Nice return there from Colt Silman.
Yeah, great effort there by special teams for the Wildcats, and they're going to come out and see they're going to spot it about the 28-yard line on the Wildcats, so a good return by Colt Silman. He really got popped as he went out of bounds there, but this a lot of passion on both sides of the ball tonight, especially when the players are getting to the out of bounds. Here comes the Hootens Hardware. First down for the Wildcats on their own. Now they're going to spot it at the 30-yard line, 29. It keeps changing. Going to be the 29-yard line. 1st and 10 for the Wildcats.
Number 15, Brady Driver, still in at quarterback for the Wildcats as he takes the field with this offense for the first drive, or the first play of the game. And he hands it off to number 9, J.J. Hall, I believe. No, that was number 8, Malachi Rowland. I apologize. And he's able to get just a yard on the rush, so a 2nd and 9 upcoming.
Right. No harm, no foul there, Ross. I don't know if you've heard, but we're way up here. Now I know we've been more than 11 minutes in space up here for this. It's got to be the highest. I wish I knew the altitude here.
15, Brady Driver, hands it off to number 8, Malachi Rowland, and this one is much more successful as he's able to plow through at least 2 defenders all the way for an 8-yard rush. What a great play there by the running back.
Yes, that second, third, and fourth effort that he made really advanced the ball there for the Wildcats, and they've got a 3rd and short situation now.
Rowland on the very incredible athletic move did lose his helmet on the play, so he did march off the field. And in the backfield now with the quarterback Brady Driver is number 3, Douglas Deloney. Looks like the Tigers showing a cover 1 blitz, and so it is as number 3, or it looks like number 3 Deloney took off with it, but instead quarterback Brady Driver faked me out, took it himself for a 5-yard rush, so a new set of downs for the Wildcats.
Here comes the Hootens Hardware first down. The Wildcats on their own 41-yard line. They get this one, they'll be in Tiger territory if they get a new set of downs on this. So they're moving the ball.
Driver gets it. Low snap there, and he has to take off because he's got some pressure in his face. Tries to get to Landon Fields, but Landon Fields was just too far outside, had a defender draped on his back, so it will be an incomplete pass. 2nd and 10 upcoming.
Yes, that was, he did a good job scrambling. We have said that the quarterbacks, all the people that, all the personnel that are lining up in the quarterback position for the Wildcats are developing and getting better at scrambling and taking their time as the season goes on, and Brady Driver's no exception as he took his time and scrambled and almost connected, but it's going to be 2nd and 10 for the Wildcats.
Matthew Clark moving left on the motion. He hands it off to number 3, Douglas Deloney. He fakes the handoff, sweeping right, and looks to try and get a wide receiver. It looks like he was looking for Weston Fields, who had a guy on him, so he just kind of threw the ball away. But there's a flag thrown on the field, so it might be some unsportsmanlike conduct, or perhaps maybe a taunting penalty coming up. So we'll see what the call on the field is.
So we'll have to keep our eyes on the official down here, as they're not mic'd up, and maybe the PA announcer will help us out on this one. But we're talking to the coach on the Corsicana side over here. So here comes the official to call in the middle of the field. Maybe not. Here it comes. So that was an ineligible receiver downfield for the Wildcats. I'm not sure who that would be that was lined up incorrectly, but they declined that penalty to force a third and very long for the Wildcats. On their own 41-yard line, it's going to be 3rd and 10.
Wildcats will see if they can't somehow convert this 3rd and long, but the Tigers showing defense, showing blitz all the way, and quarterback Brady Driver has to take off with it, and he's able to get about 5 yards on the rush, but that's all he could get as he was tackled up by a Tiger, and a punt team coming on the field for the Wildcats.
Great effort by Brady Driver there, as there was just nobody open when he scrambled around and tried to throw the ball, so it's punt time for the Wildcats. Hopefully they can draw them off sides here and get a 5-yard penalty. Wouldn't that be great, and force them into a first down, but no hope.
So Colby Albritton, number 6, gets the snap and kicks it away, and it's a deep kick. It's keep bouncing. It's in the 5-yard line, and wow, it looks like a Wildcat defender maybe came down with it inside the 1. He sure did. Wow.
Going to be a net 54-yard punt for the Wildcats as they push that ball all the way down on the Tiger 1-inch line. They're going to call it, it's about the 1 foot line. They're going to be deep in their own territory, deep in their own end zone to start this set of downs as the Tigers come out on the field. Great job by the special teams for the Wildcats.
And remember, in previous weeks, the Wildcats found themselves in some trouble being pinned so deep in their own end zone, as Matthew Mitchell was sacked 1 game in the end zone for a safety. So perhaps the Wildcats can kind of return the favor that's been put against them in previous weeks and can maybe get a safety here. We'll see.
Got Douglas Deloney on there on the defense.
And number 12, Jamarian Lewis, in at quarterback, and he's got a man all alone. Number 19, the wide receiver on the near sideline, and a beautiful, beautiful fade route there by number 19 for the Tigers.
Yes, and number 18, Kadarian Turner on the tackle, pushed him out of bounds actually, but a huge gain all the way out to the 23-yard line for the Tigers.
So after the explosive play from this Tiger offense, they'll have a new set of downs at their own 23-yard line, and the running back is able to take it up the middle, but lots of bodies were swarming up there, both on the offense and the defense, to end the play. So it'll be about a 2-yard rush there from the running back, and that's number 6 on the play. So will be a 2nd and 8, I believe, for this Tiger offense.
And number 12 still in as quarterback for the Tigers, and more accuracy in passing like what we saw in the pregame warm-up is just on the previous play there that would moved him all the way up the field. 2nd down.
Scrunched up package here from the Tiger offense, and number 12, Jamarian Lewis, has the exact same play dialed up. Number 19, he was looking number 19's way all the way on the near sideline, but the play was blown dead by a referee. We'll see what the call on the field is.
False start on the offense.
Yep.
5-yard penalty.
False start for the Tigers. That's going to back them up 5 more yards. They're going to be on their own 20-yard line, and it's going to be 2nd down and about 13. So another pass play coming up. For somebody who wasn't passing, now they're all of a sudden passing just about every play, and with some pretty good success.
So with the 2nd and long, the Tigers, the quarterback keeps it. Number 2, I believe, on the play. That's Dante
Yep.
Thomas, yes. And, that was number 12
again.
Jamarian Lewis, who took it himself and didn't look like he got much on the play, or he got 5 yards, so it'll be right about where the ball was before the false start penalty. So a 3rd and 8 upcoming for the Tiger offense on their own 25-yard line.
And a big play for the Wildcats defense is if they can stop them here, they turn a punt into some fantastic field position, as the Tigers will have to punt into the wind. So big time for stop. They've got 2 receivers on the far side and 1 on the near side for the Tigers.
So number 12, Jamarian Lewis, sweeping left, and he's got number 19 on the near sideline, but will he have enough for the first down? Yes, he will. Just a yard more than he needed for the first down.
So unfortunately for the Wildcats, the Tigers are going to get a new set of downs, and pretty good coverage there for the Wildcats, but caught it just barely, snagged it and stayed in bounds, and well-designed play for the Tigers. They're moving up to their own 34-yard line.
Wildcat showing blitz on the play. Jamarian Lewis sweeping right, and he delivers it to his running back, number 13, who quickly takes it and is able to get about 7, maybe 6 yards on the play.
About 5 Wildcats wrapped him up on the defense there, but like I say, not before he got about 6 or 7 yards on the play, so it's going to make a 2nd and 3 for the Tigers. They're on their own 41-yard line, approaching midfield.
Lewis gets it, hands it off, and he takes it up the gut for, well, I wanted to say 8 yard on the play, but referee on the near sideline throws a penalty, so we'll see who it's called against. It looks like it may be against Corsicana, but we'll find out. Number 4, Colt Sillman, was the defender on the play, and that was number 19, the wide receiver, Demarius Daniels, who was the 2 players tangled up there for a moment, so we'll see what the call is. Or not.
Right.
Personal foul. Hands to the face. Defense number 4. 15-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
Well, so unfortunately, hands to the face penalty called against the Wildcats. It's going to move past midfield into Wildcat territory. They're going to be on the Wildcat 44-yard line. 1st and 10 for the Tigers. Lucky break for them.
So Jamarian Lewis looking deep again. He's looking for number 19, and just outside of his reach, number 4, Colt Sillman, was the defender on the play and had some beautiful coverage.
Yeah, Colt Sillman did a great job there covering the receiver for the Tigers, and that's what made the difference. And Colt Sillman's going to go out on this play and bring in another defender. Number 5 is going to replace him on this near side for us. Yeah, 19 is kind of a threat for the Tigers there. He's very quick and the favorite target of this quarterback when he wants to throw.
Lewis looking right, and he had a wide receiver. I believe that was number 19 again, Demarius Daniels, but just had a little too much mustard on that throw, as it was not really in the reach of Daniels. So an incomplete pass and a 3rd and 10, another 3rd and long for this Wildcat D.
Yeah, it's time for the Wildcat defense to dial it up. This is where they can stop it and force a punt into the wind here that wouldn't way too long for a kick, of course, as they're on the Wildcat 44-yard line.
Lewis gets it. He's looking left. He's got his wide receiver, number 19, on the outside, who's able to get past the defender and is inside the Wildcat 25-yard line. A great athletic play there by Daniels.
Yes, tackled there on the near sideline by Riley Hammonds, but some good blocking there for the Corsicana Tigers that allowed him to get a few extra yards, and unfortunately getting pretty close to the red zone there in Wildcat territory as they're on their the Wildcat 25-yard line. It's going to be 1st and 10 for the Tigers.
Lewis still in at quarterback, hands it off to his running back, number 6, who's able to break a number of tackles, and he's inside the Wildcat 15-yard line, just outside of the 10 at the 11.
Yeah, that Pretty good run by the running back. I think it was 13 for the Tigers that was the running back there, and gives them a new set of downs. They're deep into Wildcat territory, deep in the red zone on the Wildcat 12-yard line, 1st and 10.
Lewis gets it, hands it off to number 6 again, who takes it up the gut and is able to get about 4, maybe 5 yards on the play, so will be a 2nd and 5 upcoming.
Yep, time for the Wildcat defense to get a little bit more aggressive, try to stop this. If we can hold them to a field goal here, it would certainly make the difference. 3:39 left in the half. 14-7, the Wildcats are over the Tigers.
Lewis gets it. He's looking number 19, Daniels, all the way, and oh my goodness, what a spectacular one-headed catch for the touchdown.
Yes, that was an unbelievable catch. Very good coverage by Cole Silman, but the receiver just laid back and snatched it out of the air with one hand, and that puts 6 more points on the board for the Tigers. They could tie it up with a completed extra point right here. So like I say, not much Colt Silman can do. It was good coverage, but just got out-jumped by the Tiger receiver.
Extra kick on its way, and it's good. So it will be a tied ball game at 14-all with just under 3.5 minutes to go until halftime.
We've got another kickoff coming up for the Wildcats to receive. But we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be back here in just a moment.
Welcome back to Corsicana here at Tiger Stadium as we've got Wildcats football in their 7th game taking on the Corsicana Tigers. It's been a tight ball game up until this point between 2 District 8 5A teams as the Wildcats were able to come back from a 7-0 deficit to go up 14-7. But on the previous drive, the Tigers were able to punch it in the end zone on a touchdown reception by number 19, Demarius Daniels. So we've got a tie ball game with just under 3.5 minutes to go until halftime, 14-all. Tigers kicking it off to the Wildcats.
Here comes the J. Hodge Chevrolet kickoff as the new receiving package, number 6, number 10, are back for the Wildcats.
And number 10, Matthew Sherman, calls the fair catch, and it will be downed at the 28-yard line of Sulphur Springs.
Matthew Mitchell.
Oh,
the other right. Matthew. Yes, and so he snagged the ball and got a few yards out of it. They're going to start on their own 28-yard line. It's going to be the Hootens Hardware first down for the Wildcats on the 1st and 10 on their own 28. They've got 3:27 on the game clock, so it's crunch time here for this offense. They're going to have to really move it down the field. They've got the advantage of the wind to their backs as they're moving left to right in this second quarter, right before the half.
Driver still in at quarterback for the Wildcats. Motion from the B-back, and he hands it off, but the running back is swarmed on the play for no gain on the rush.
Yes, the Tigers saw that one coming as Malachi Rowland tried to take it up the middle and just got attacked by the Tigers defense for no gain. So very quickly, it's 2nd down, and the clock is ticking very close to 3 minutes.
So driver getting an audible. Didn't like what he seen from the defense, so he's communicating with the far sideline where the Wildcats coaching staff is at. And after getting the new play, he communicates with his team. He's ready for the snap, and he gets it. And once again, he hands it off to number 8, Malachi Rowland, who's got a nice bit of green grass ahead of him as he's pushed out of bounds just south of the 40-yard line for Sulphur Springs.
Looks like it's going to be enough for a first down, though. So that's and Andy stopped the clock. Well, now they're going to call him back here at the. It's almost. Yep. It looks like it's enough for a first down. Yep, they're going to change it to first down. They just need to move those sticks in the background there. So the guys with the sticks are running as and they're still running the clock. I don't understand that. Thought he got out of bounds. 2:24 left in the first half. Wildcats have all 3 of their timeouts.
So Coach Greg Owens has to call a timeout because his offense just couldn't get the playoff in time. So a timeout on the field called by Sulphur Springs.
We're going to take a timeout with them, and we'll be back here after a quick break. And we're back at Tiger Stadium in Corsicana, where the Wildcats are tied up with the Corsicana Tigers, 14 all, and there's 2:16 left in this first half, even though there's a little confusion on that previous play and a little bit of time ran off the clock. I thought that our running back, Malachi Rowland, got out of bounds and should have stopped the clock, and there was some confusion as the clock kept ticking down, them trying to move the chains, and it was definitely a first down. But anyway, here they come out for the Hootens Hardware first down on their own 38-yard line.
Driver with Malachi Rowland in the backfield, and a bit of a weird snap there, but Driver keeps it. He's up to 45. He's at the 50, 45, and close to the Corsicana 40, but he'll be pushed out of bounds, so that will stop the clock with just over 2 minutes to go. It will be spotted at the Corsicana 42-yard line.
So a great run there by Driver on the quarterback keeper. I'm not sure if that play was intended for him to keep it, but he did a good job scrambling and getting up past the midfield and into Tiger territory. It's a Hootens Hardware first down on the Tiger 42-yard line, 1st and 10.
So with the new set of downs, the clock stopped. The Wildcats can take their sweet time as they're already on the Corsicana side of the field with over 2 minutes to go. And be remiss if I didn't mention the fact that as the play gets off, Driver fakes it, and he's got a wide receiver, Colt Silman, and he got him to 15, 10, 5, touchdown Wildcats.
Fantastic play by the Wildcats as Northeast Texas Farmers Co-op says, way to go Wildcats, as he connects all the way across the middle and all the way down in for the touchdown. So a great play to put the Wildcats up 20-14 over the Tigers, awaiting this extra point. What a great play.
Extra kick up on its way from Arianos. And it's good. So Arianos 3 for 3 on extra kicks tonight as the Wildcats lead 21-14 over Corsicana with over 2 minutes to go until halftime.
We were going to take a quick break, and we'll be back in just a moment.
The Wildcats football team were able to go on another explosive touchdown. The first one was Weston Fields going 81 yards to the house, but on the previous drive, quarterback Brady Driver got his at least second touchdown pass on the game.
Oh, yeah. Beautiful pass. What was it, about 41, 42 yards?
42 yards, and I just wanted to check to make sure, but that is actually Brady Driver's third touchdown pass of the game, and all touchdowns on the night thanks to that quarterback. So something we've talked about with Coach Owens over previous weeks is continuing to develop and build confidence for their quarterbacks, and I got to tell you, I think we're seeing a lot of confidence from this Wildcat offense tonight.
Not looking for an onside kick here for this J. Hyde Chevrolet kickoff, and it's not. It goes deep all the way back with the help of the wind.
And a bit of a stumbling fall there from number 19, Demarius Daniels, and he tries to make an athletic juke move, but he is quickly wrapped up by the Wildcat defense inside their own 10. So the second straight drive that they will start in their own 5-yard line.
There's a flag down there on the play. I'm not sure what that's going to be, but the Tiger receiving the kickoff stepped back into his own end zone and then came out. Is going to run it back out and only got up to about the 8-yard line. A bad decision on his part. Great news for the Wildcats, but let's see what this penalty is going to be. Looks like well, they called it while I was talking and I didn't hear, but it's against the Wildcats. It's we're going to move all the way out to the 23-yard line, so that's 15 yards. That's going to be some kind of unsportsmanlike conduct or something against the Wildcats. It's going to get the Tigers a little bit better field position on their own 22-yard line.
So Jamarian Lewis on the wide receiver screen. He dishes it out to his wide receiver on the outside, who's able to break one tackle but can't do anything else as he's quickly taken up by some more Wildcat defenders for about what should be maybe a 3 to 4 yard reception there. So the clock will keep rolling, or so I believed. I guess a timeout must have been called on the field. Nope, there is another flag on the field.
That was number 8 on the reception for the Tigers.
And a big penalty called against Corsicana, holding exactly what they were not hoping for with just 2 minutes to go and looking to tie the game up before halftime. A holding call called against Corsicana. So just as quickly as the ball was moved forward on what I believe to be an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty, it'll be moved back all the way to their own 12, a 1st and 20 for the Tiger offense. He hands it off. Nice easy play there on the running back draw, and he's able to get close to back to the original line of scrimmage. So will be, yes, a 10-yard gain there by the running back, but clock has stopped again, so will be a timeout called by the Wildcats. So Coach Greg Owens maybe perhaps expecting to get the ball back to his offense, but we're going to take a timeout with these teams, and when we return, we will have the end of the first half coming up. Welcome back to Tiger Stadium here in Corsicana as the Wildcats football team currently have the lead over their 7th opponent here in the fall 2021 season, the Corsicana Tigers. 21-14 they lead, and those 3 touchdowns for Sulphur Springs all came thanks to quarterback Brady Driver, who's had an impressive game.
Oh, absolutely. And so, and the receivers have as well. Weston Fields is that huge 81-yard bomb, right? I mean, my goodness.
Absolutely, but the Corsicana Tigers do have the ball with just over a minute and a half to go here before halftime. Quarterback Jamarian Lewis hands it off to his running back, but that is quickly blown up right around the line of scrimmage, so it will be about a 1-yard gain for the running back, and it will make it a 3rd and 8. So another timeout called on the field by Coach Greg Owens, as he's definitely expecting his ball to get his offense to get the ball back.
We're going to take a quick break with him, and we'll be back in just a moment. And welcome back. It's Wildcat football. Pretty tense moments here, Ross. A minute and 32 left on the clock. It's 3rd down. The Tigers are deep in their own territory. It's 3rd and 9. The Tigers don't have any more timeouts. They're just going to have to throw a big bomb of a pass here and try to hope they can get out of bounds if they're going to move these sticks and have enough time to get down the field. The Wildcats are thinking maybe they're going to get the ball back if they can hold them here, of course, to a 4th and long here.
Jamarian Lewis looking left. He's got a man on the outside on the wheel route, and Demarius Daniels catches it all the way up at the Corsicana 45-yard line. A big explosive play there as that one goes for 21 yards.
And they're going to stop the clock with a minute and 26 as they move the sticks all the way up to the Tiger, their own 44-yard line. And then the clock gets rolling again, so we'll see how quickly they can get the play off. They have no timeouts left in this half.
Jamarian Lewis on the has a bad snap, and he dives down on it at his own 30-yard line, and it looks like maybe a Wildcat defender, or more accurately, about 5 would have had the chance to come up with it, but instead he falls down on it at their own 31-yard line, so what should be about a 10-yard loss, perhaps a little bit more, and looks to be, close to a 20-yard loss, it would appear.
Yeah, so it's going to make it 2nd and 23, deep in their own territory, in their own 31-yard line. Clock ticking past 43 seconds.
No timeouts for either team, so this is likely going to be the end of the drive. Perhaps not on this play, as number 6 takes it up the middle and is able to get close to back to the original line of scrimmage, but he'll be about a yard short of the original line, so it will be a 3rd and 11, under 30 seconds to go for Corsicana.
They could throw a bomb of a pass here and try to get into the end zone, but this is going to be about their last opportunity.
And nice coverage there by number 6, Colby Albritton, to make sure that number 19, Demarius Daniels, didn't continue to shred this defensive backfield. That's not to say that the Wildcats defense in the backfield haven't done well, but Demarius Daniels, we see time and time again, play after play, exactly why he is this quarterback, number 12's favorite target.
Yes, and of course that stopped the clock, and it's 4th down for the Tigers, so they're going to have to bring the punt team out, and 14 seconds left on the clock. The Wildcats are up 21-14, and just as we approach the end of the first half.
Wow, and a bit of a shanked punt there by the defender, and it will be downed inside the Wildcat 30-yard line at about the 29.
And so the clock only has 3 seconds on it. It's only time for one play. Let's see what Coach Owens dials up for this. could be a bomb of a play, or could just take a knee and go to halftime knowing that you're up 21-14.
And the Wildcats showing a kneel formation, and the good news is for all you Wildcat listeners is that the Sulphur Springs will get the ball to start the second half, so a chance to go up 2 possessions if they can get a touchdown to begin the second half. But a kneel down from Brady Driver will end the first half as the Wildcats football team lead Corsicana 21-14.
We're going to take a quick break here at halftime, and we'll be back here in just a moment to await the arrival of the Sulphur Springs Blue Blazes, as well as the Sulphur Springs High School Band as well. So we'll be back in just a moment.
The center, so a lot of Wildcat formations from the Tiger offense, but luckily the Wildcats were able to stuff them on a couple of drives, but the Wildcat band and the Blue Blazes have made their way onto the field.
We're going to enjoy this performance by the 60th line of the Blue Blazes.
Officers to the 60th line are Junior Lieutenant Sally Spraggins, Junior Lieutenant Emily James, Junior Lieutenant Jocelyn Yanez, Junior Lieutenant Olivia Worth, Co-Captain Macy Peppers, and Captain Haven Walker Moore. Teams would also like to recognize their spirit girl, Gracie Johnson, and their outstanding Blaze of the Week, Alexis Elias. The Blazes are under the direction of Meredith Dow and Assistant Director Candy McGraw. Tonight, the Blazes will be performing an entertaining comedy to thank.
show, be our guest. Wildcat leader Mike Wade is the section of the week.
And we're back at Tiger Stadium in Corsicana, where the Wildcat band is coming out and getting ready for their what's sure to be an award-winning performance. It takes them a while to get set up these days with all the props and the stages and the soloist and always a fun performance.
Sulphur High School is proud to present the Wildcat Band. Congratulations to Wildcat fans for receiving the first division at URL and advancing to the area contest on the 23rd. This is the voice of Wildcat fans saying, "Go Wildcats!"
Welcome back to Tiger Stadium here in Corsicana as we are about set to get the second half underway. The Wildcat football helmet is all blown up. The same with the Corsicana Tiger tunnel, all blown up. Both teams about set to take the field. Looks like Corsicana will be the first team to do so.
Yeah, they, like we said, they had their homecoming festivities during halftime. Their band did not perform, only in the background for the homecoming presentation as the Corsicana Tigers come back out on the field. There's still a great crowd here, obviously for homecoming as well as for these Corsicana Tigers. Looks like they topped out about, maybe, I'm not going to count them all, Ross, but I'm going to say about 400 on this side. About 100 faithful Wildcat fans on the other side, on the visitor side. Very long drive to get all the way out here to Corsicana. And speaking of that long drive, I told you I was going to tell you more about that J. Hodge Chevrolet special that they've got going on during Foxtober, and that is they're raising money for the United Way. So if you bring a bag of candy anytime during the month of October, they will give you $500 off the purchase of a newer used vehicle there at J. Hodge Chevrolet. Of course, then they'll turn around and give that candy to some kids, and they'll also make a $100 donation to the United Way. So a lot of things going on over there at J. Hodge Chevrolet. We were by there today and saw they have many new and used vehicles there on their lot. So J. Hodge Chevrolet, our kickoff sponsor. We're about to, the Wildcats are going to be kicking off the J. Hodge Chevrolet kickoff here in just a moment. So if you're looking for a new or used vehicle, go down there and see Bill Owens and all the gang at J. Hodge Chevrolet over on Wildcat Way, a proud sponsor of Wildcat football. So the Wildcats will be moving right to left again here. They'll be kicking into the wind. And we've got that big threat, number 19, all the way back on his own 10-yard line, back to receive the kickoff. I'd be looking for an onside kick here, but that's just me wishful thinking, just hoping.
Yeah, it would be an interesting play call, but before the Wildcats kick it away, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention the Lady Cats volleyball team who hosted the Pine Tree Lady Pirates at the Sulphur Springs High School main gym, and they ended up sweeping the Pine Tree Pirates 3-0. They won in straight sets, 25-18, 25-10, and 25-14 as the Wildcats kick it away and kicking it deep. Looks like number 2, Dante Thomas, will take it, and he's got some green grass, but he's tripped up by a Wildcat defender, number 41. Otherwise, that had some potential to go deep down the field.
Yes, that was a high kick, and it got caught by the wind and kind of stalled there. He picked it up about their own 25-yard line and made it back out to their own 35-yard line. So the Corsicana Tigers, moving left to right now, will be starting their 1st and 10 on their own 35-yard line. It's time for the Wildcats defense to put the hurt on these Corsicana Tigers.
In at quarterback again is number 12, Jamarian Lewis, who had a pretty nice second quarter, able to sling it to his favorite target, number 19, Demarius Daniels, but instead it's number 2, Dante Thomas, who takes off with it, and he's able to get 5 to 6 yards before being wrestled down to the ground by some Wildcat defenders. A nice rush there by the running back.
In other action around the district, the Forney Jackrabbits, Forney High School, is over the Greenville Lions 21-0, and they're in the third quarter. They're deep in the third quarter right now.
Lewis gets it, hands it off. Number 2, Thomas again, and he gets more than enough necessary for the first down as he gets close to 10. But it looks like there's a fumble on the play.
The ball slipped out there at the end, but they're going to say the runner was down, I believe.
Wow, that's a big call on the field. Looks like the referees are discussing it. The Wildcats all pointing their direction. They really think they got it.
Let's see, the officials are going to discuss it down there. Number 6 on the carry for the Tigers lost his helmet on that play. Looks like the offense for the Tigers and the defense are going to stay out there. Going to say the ball was down. They're going to give him that first down. It's going to be 1st and 10 for the Tigers on their own 47-yard line.
So after the interesting chain of developments in which the Tigers were able to keep the ball after what appeared to be a fumble. Instead, he rolls right. He looks like he'll take it himself, and he's able to kind of beat a Wildcat defender to the outside, but he's wrestled out of bounds at right around midfield.
Cordarian Bull Turner on the stop there to take that Tiger out of bounds, and for a small gain, about 3 yards, going to make it 2nd and 7, right on the 50-yard line. They're just 1 inch away from being into Wildcat territory as they're right on the midfield line.
2nd and 7 here for the Tigers. Wildcats looking like they're showing blitz, and blitz they are. And as a result, Dante Thomas cannot go anywhere as he looks like he'll be tackled right around the line of scrimmage. If not, maybe they'll give him a yard on the rush.
Yes, that was a great stop there by the Wildcats. It looked like number 54 there, Nick Cantillo, was instrumental on stopping that play from getting anywhere. And so they just gave him about a yard really on the play. And so it's 3rd and about, 6 yards, Ross?
Appears so. 3rd and 6 on the, they just made it to the Wildcat side of the field at the Wildcat 49-yard line. And big 3rd down here for this Tiger offense. Lewis gets it. He's looking like he's going to the bubble screen, and he's got his target all the way for more than enough yards necessary for the first down.
Yeah, he was immediately wrapped up by a Wildcat defender, Colby Albritton, but unfortunately he connected with just enough yardage to make that first down. So the Tigers are kind of moving it down the field with some short runs and some short passes here. So kind of unlike what we saw in the first half.
Yeah, and as we were talking about earlier during the broadcast, this Tiger offense, with so much of their game going on the ground, they continue to take out clock as we are over 2 minutes here into the second half. The Wildcats showing a big blitz, and they're able to get to the quarterback, Jamarian Lewis, for a sack.
Yes, many Wildcats in on that play. Nick Cantillo, again, instrumental on that stop. And he got some help by some other Wildcats. LaKyron Cork was in on the tackle as well, number 97. So a great stop there, a big loss of yardage on that one.
So a 2nd and 18 after the sack of quarterback Jamarian Lewis, and the Wildcats can get a stop here. Oh boy, he's looking deep, and he's got number 8 all alone. 15, 10, 5, touchdown, Corsicana.
Well, what unfortunate turn of events for the Wildcats there as they really putting pressure on the quarterback, but he unloaded all the way down the field, and that was going to be about a 50-yard reception there for the Tigers as they are just 1 point away from tying it up with these Wildcats. 8:50 left in this third quarter. It's 21-20, but we await that extra point.
And wow, a Wildcat looks like he might have had a chance to get in on the kick and potentially block it with his hands, but instead it goes through the uprights. We have a tie game here, 21 all, with 8:50 left to go in the third quarter.
We'll take a quick break, and we'll be back in just a moment here at Wildcat Football.
Welcome back to Tiger Stadium here in Corsicana as the Wildcat football team gave up an explosive touchdown when number 8, I believe that's Connor Means, it sure is, was able to take it deep on a beautiful pass from quarterback Jamarian Lewis, who again was able to take it 50 yards for the touchdown. We've got a tied ball game here, close to halfway through the third quarter with 8:50 to go in the third, and Wildcats about set to get the kickoff, and once again set to receive it is number 10 Matthew Mitchell, and looks like, yes, number 6 Colby Albritton.
Here comes the J. Hud Chevrolet kickoff. The Wildcats are back to receive.
And a bit of a weird kick there, but Matthew Mitchell catches it, calls for the fair catch, so we'll be down at 21, maybe 22-yard line.
Yes, and one more score from at the around the district. The Ennis Lions are way ahead of the Crandall Pirates, 49-14 at halftime, and then we also have the Royce City Bulldogs, 35-7 over the North Forney Falcons. So the Wildcats come out for their first and 10. The Hootens Hardware first down here, and we have familiar. Quarterback in there with Brady Driver, and we've got number 9 in the backfield with him, and they finally figure out that they need to move that ball up to the 25-yard line because he had made the fair catch there. So it's first and 10 from the Wildcat 25.
Driver hands it off to J.J. Hall, who is quickly taken down by a defender, but he is pulled down by his face mask. We can see it all the way from space.
An unbelievable call, Jeff Bezos. So, yes, it looked like he may have actually gotten, there may have been 2 face masks, but 2 flags came in, I'm sure, is for the same face mask, but we'll see. They're already marking it off. It's going to be a 15-yard penalty.
Personal foul, face mask, defense number 42, 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
And there's the call from the official. It's going to move it all the way out to the 40-yard line. Wonderful field position for the Wildcats. Of course, it's an automatic first down. It was first down anyway. And so this is going to be the Hootens Hardware first down from the Wildcat 40, first and 10.
With a new set of downs. Driver looking deep. He's got his favorite target, Weston Fields, on the outside, who's able to make a nice athletic move to beat the defender, but he unfortunately sidestepped out of bounds, so that's where the ball will be spotted at about the Wildcat 47-yard line, so a 7-yard reception on the pass to Weston Fields.
He just about sidestepped past that defender, and it was, but he was a little too close to the out of bounds there, and just got half a shoe out of bounds, and that stopped that play.
C.J. Williams moving left on the sweep, but instead he hands it off to his running back, and his running back is all swarmed up at the line, and he'll be tackled for a loss of 1 yard behind the line of scrimmage, so a 3rd and 4 coming up for this Wildcat offense.
Yeah, that was a good effort there by number 9, J.J. Hall, but just couldn't make anything out of it. So the Wildcats have a big play here coming up. It's 3rd and about 4 yards, looks like.
Brady Driver, he was looking for a pass, but he is all swarmed up by the defense, and he is taken down for a sack, so pretty close to the line of, behind the line of scrimmage, close to back the 10-yard marker, but instead it will be a sack and a 4th and about 8, so punt team coming on the field for the Wildcats, and you have to wonder, is this a momentum swinging drive for this game?
Yeah, that was just unfortunate turn of events there. He was scrambling, he couldn't get open. They were blitzing on him, and he broke one tackle and spun around, but the line fell apart and he just got sacked. Here comes the punt.
Colby Albritton is able to get it away. Number 2, Dante Thomas, pointing it away, and it takes a bounce in the wrong direction, so Wildcat is quick to scoop it up, and it will be spotted at the Corsicana 37-yard line.
So a net of only about 20 yards on that punt, and so it's going to give the Corsicana Tigers pretty good field position at their own 37-yard line. It's going to be first and 10 for the Corsicana Tigers. The Wildcat defense is out on the field ready to try to make something happen. Just saw Griffin Crawford come in on this package for the Wildcat defense.
Sullivan.
Lewis behind center, hands it off to Dante Thomas, who is able to juke left and get a couple of extra yardage on the athletic play. So it'll be about a 5-yard gain on 1st and 10. So 2nd and 5 coming up for Corsicana.
Douglas Deloney and Riley Hammonds on the tackle there. Wildcats getting the defensive play called in there.
Lewis has got 2 wide receivers, both on the outside, and he was looking to number 8, but the throw was way ahead of the wide receiver there. Connor Means was the intended receiver on the play.
That ball was tipped, and Cordarian Turner there was pretty close to the ball, but couldn't come up with it. That would have been a fantastic interception if it had just been tipped a little bit more his way, because I'm not sure if anybody could have caught him if he had snagged that ball.
After the incomplete pass, though, it'll be a 3rd and 5 for Corsicana at their own 42-yard line. So another big 3rd down coming up for this Wildcat D. Douglas sweeping right, and number 2, Dante Thomas, takes it up the gut, but that time it is all thwarted. He is able to get 2 yards on the rush, but a 4th and 3. And the punt team coming on the field for Corsicana.
Right. No hesitation there as their punt team comes out, because it's a long way for them to go as they're still in their own territory on their own 44-yard line. Seems like we've called that 44-yard line on both sides a lot tonight. That and the 34-yard line. Just if we were in Vegas, we'd be playing that on roulette, Ross. Is that one of your favorite games?
Oh, absolutely. That and the penny slots.
Yes.
So the punter there is able to get away for Corsicana, and I believe that's number 4, Colt Stillman, set to receive it at his own 20, and he's able to make a couple of moves to try and beat the defenders that were coming in on him, but he's still tackled inside the 30 of Corsicana. We'll see where the ball gets placed. It looks like it'll be at about the 27-yard line for Sulphur Springs.
So average field position for the Wildcats back here. They can make something happen. They've got some big targets there receiver-wise. We've got Weston Fields on the far side, and got 5 and 46 both lined up on the far side. C.J. Williams and, of course, Carton Fenton's over there. So
still in that quarterback is Brady Driver. So Matthew Mitchell, haven't seen a whole lot of him at quarterback. Brady Driver keeps it himself, though, on the quarterback, on the zone read, and he's able to get more than enough yardage for the 1st down. So it looks like a 12-yard gain there for Brady Driver.
Yeah, good run. He's really good at scrambling tonight, and I called the wrong number. There was Luke Caton. He's in as tight end, of course. And then I've got number 11 here on the near side, Matthew Sherman.
Driver behind center. Malachi rolling in the backfield with him. He's looking deep. He's got Weston Fields on the outside, and he's got him inside the 30. It looks like he'll be tackled down at the 25-yard line.
Right, and even though he was tackled before the ball got there, he still came up with it for a huge reception. That moves the Wildcats deep into Tiger territory on the Tiger 24-yard line. A huge reception. And if that had just been another yard or 2, he would have gone to the house, because they had slowed down just a little bit and got wrapped up with the defender.
So after the hugely explosive play for 42 yards, Draver fakes it, and he's got a wide receiver in the end zone, C.J. Williams. Touchdown, Wildcats.
What a fantastic play call there by the Wildcats offensive coordinator as they put 6 more points on the board. Northeast Texas Farmers Co-op says, way to go Wildcats for that huge couple of passes getting down the end zone. Puts the Wildcats up 27-21 over the Tigers awaiting the extra point. 4:51 left in the 3rd quarter.
Extra kick is up, and it's good. So Arianos 4 for 4 on PATs on the night, and the Wildcats have a 7-point lead again at 28-21 with under 5 to go in the 3rd.
We'll take a quick break and wait this next kickoff. We'll be back in just a moment. Back at Corsicana Tiger Stadium, where the Wildcats are up 28-21 over the Corsicana Tigers. 4:51 left in this third quarter. That's just a great turn of events. The Wildcats answered very quickly with some big plays and connecting with that favorite receiver, Weston Fields, for a long pass completion and then turning it around and putting it into the end zone with C.J. Williams. And so that was a great drive for the Wildcats, a nice long drive as they started all the way back down on about the 27-yard line, I think it was. So here comes the Wildcats to kick off the Jayhawk Chevrolet kickoff, and they kick it right through the front line, and it goes out of bounds about the 36-yard line on the other side. So I'm not sure what if they were trying to bounce that off of one of the front line there, the Tigers, and have an onside kick. What do you think that was?
I don't know. I think you're probably right. I think Arianos, the kicker there, wanted to bounce a kick off of a Tiger there. But if anything, if Arianos wants to kick an onside kick, he needs to watch the film for what he did last week.
Oh, yeah.
That was one of the most spectacular onside kicks. The placement, I mean, you can't see me now, but chef's kiss. It was magnifique.
Right. It was absolutely on spot. Unfortunately, the Wildcats didn't come up with that, and it's a 1st and 10 for the Tigers on their own 36-yard line.
And he's looking deep, but there was a Wildcat who was able to get a foot down and get the interception. Will they call it? Yes, they will. An interception for the Wildcat defense.
And that is Riley Hammonds. Wonderful hands on Riley Hammonds as he comes up with that interception. Really an overthrown ball, but very alert Riley Hammonds comes up with it and then comes down with it, and it's going to be Wildcat ball. It looks like they're going to spot it about the Wildcat. Let's see, they're still talking about it over there.
Probably discussing where the ball will be placed when the Wildcats get the ball.
Looks about like on their own 44-yard line. So one play in, and the Wildcats get the ball back. So way to go, Riley Hammonds.
And that's no doubt, for right now, the defensive play of the game as of this moment. And the Wildcats going to be looking for similar results as their last drive with 2 plays that were more than explosive that resulted in them getting a touchdown. Brady Driver keeps it. He's moving right, and he's able to kind of get past the line of scrimmage, but then he's taken down by a number of Tiger defenders. But lots of flags coming down on the field. So it looks like maybe this will be called against Corsicana.
Yes, it looks like the Wildcats were celebrating when that laundry was thrown out on the field. A couple of yellow flags out. Now the black and white striped uniforms are having a little discussion about it. The coach for the Tigers very interested in the outcome of this penalty as he's about 15 yards from the sideline. So just like we said before, if the Wildcats can keep their cool, and this Corsicana Tiger team, when they get frustrated, they start pushing and shoving, and when the officials see that, out comes the yellow flags. But unfortunately, they're going to call that one against. Oh, they've got one against the Wildcats and one against the Tigers. So those are going to be offsetting penalties, and the ball's going to stay exactly where it was. About a 1-yard gain for the quarterback keeper there for Brady Driver, and it's going to be 2nd and 9.
And remember, folks, Riley Hammonds was able to get that interception, and even after one play of a measly only 1-yard rush, the Wildcats are already at their own 44-yard line, and nice reception from Weston Fields on the outside in the far sideline is able to, on the hitch route, is able to go pretty close to the first down yardage necessary, but he'll be marked 2 yards short.
So it's going to be 3rd and 2. It's going to be just a short 2 yards, it looks like. This Wildcat offense needs to dial it up and get a new set of downs right here.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, Chad, because if they can do so, they can and get a touchdown on this drive. They'll be up 2 possessions on the Tigers, but Tigers showing blitz. Malachi Rowland is able to bounce past the offensive line and get the first down necessary. What an athletic move by Rowland there.
Oh, yeah, he just bounced and spun, and, he's known this season for giving that 2nd and 3rd effort, and he just needed a 2nd effort there to get past the down marker and get a new set of downs for those Wildcats. They're in Tiger territory now, and they're just moving down the field.
On the Corsicana 44-yard line is where the first down will be given. So Wildcats with a new set of downs Still in at quarterback is Brady Driver. In the backfield with him is J.J. Hall. J.J. Hall going for pass protection, but it's going to C.J. Williams all the way, who's inside the Corsicana 25-yard line.
Big pass there as they're going to move down right on the Tiger red zone, as they're going to mark it right on the 20-yard line. That's going to be a great field position for these Wildcats, and they're moving on down the field, throwing into the wind, but great connection there.
Chad, as far as I can tell, as we were talking about earlier, Coach Owens defined an explosive play as 20-plus yards, and on this drive and the last, we've had 3 explosive plays from the Wildcat offense. First and 10, and he hands it off to number 9, J.J. Hall, who's able to slip past a defender, but he fumbles it.
And unfortunately, the Tigers picked it up. I was dialed in on that one with my binoculars, and the ball just popped right out when he got hit. And there was a Tiger right there to fall on it, so that's going to be turned over. The Tigers are going to be deep in their own territory, but they've stopped the momentum of the Wildcats on this one, as they're going to take the ball over on their own 13-yard line. I have to say that, of course, that was kind of a free drive for us because of Riley Hammonds. That's the defensive play of the game so far. Riley Hammonds getting that big interception, but unfortunately, because of this turnover, this fumble on that run, the Wildcats are not going to get any points on the board out of it. Still 28-21, 2:58 left in the third quarter.
Lewis fakes the handoff, keeps it himself, but he is quickly swarmed up by some Wildcat defenders on what'll no doubt be a sack on the play, so it looks like a 3-yard loss.
Yes, and that was a great play by that Wildcat, number 25, Madison Martin, who got in there and wrapped up their quarterback. He wasn't faked out at all by that play because he dropped the quarterback for a 3-yard loss. It's going to be 2nd and 13. The Tigers are now pushed all the way back to their own 10-yard line. This another good defensive play.
So facing a second and long, we'll see what Coach Hal Wasson and this Tiger offense can do. Once again, he keeps it. Wow. An impressive play there, but an even more impressive play there by number 18, Cordarian Bull Turner, coming in and able to get the pass deflection. He
just slapped that ball right out of the air and it did not make it to its intended receiver for the Corsicana Tigers. So this Wildcat defense is on fire right now. We may see another big play that'll be a candidate for our defensive play of the game. The defensive play of the game here in Wildcat football is sponsored by Sulphur Springs Dodge. You have to remember, you don't have to choose offense or defense when you go buy a new or used car at Sulphur Springs Dodge. They're all on the same team.
So if the Wildcat D can get a stop here on 3rd and 13, Jamarian Lewis, he's looking deep, but Riley Hammond is there. And I'm sorry, I said Riley Hammond. That was Colby Albritton who was on the defense, and he got some hands on it, but he looks like he dived for the ball as he was kind of going to catch it, but had he taken a few more steps, he would have gotten an interception on the play. But the result is the same, an incomplete pass, 4th down, and the Tiger punt team coming on the field.
Yeah, the Tiger punter is going to be stepping in some of the blue and gold area there deep in his own end zone. So he's going to be kicking from about 3 or 4 yards into his own end zone, which is a great place for this special teams, this Wildcat special team. That's exactly where they want him.
And something we saw in previous weeks as the kick is away for Corsicana. Not a great kick there as it is able to get to about the 40-yard line. It'll get to the Corsicana, looks like the 46, which is where the Wildcats will start with the ball. But as we saw in previous weeks, like in the Lovejoy loss, so many times in that game, Sulphur Springs punted and gave Lovejoy the ball on either their own, on Sulphur Springs side of the 50, or right about at midfield. So the fact that the Wildcats are now able to kind of return some of these favors, as we talked about earlier, is huge for this Wildcat team.
Yeah, that was a pretty weak punt, even though he had the wind to his back. And it rolled about 10 or 15 yards, but it still never got out of Tiger territory, and the Wildcats are going to have great field position to start this drive. Probably the best field position on any drive they've had, as they're on the Tiger 46-yard line for the Hootens Hardware 1st down.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, Chad. And still in at quarterback is Brady Driver, and Malachi Rowland gets the call on the 1st and 10, and he is swarmed up, and the Tiger D is all fired up as they, again, on the previous drive for the Sulphur Springs, J.J. Hall fumbled the ball, and they were able to recover. Unfortunately for the Tigers, they did have a 3-and-out, so gave it right back to Sulphur Springs. But then again, if Sulphur Springs can get at least 1, maybe even 2 first downs, they will continue to wear and gas this Tiger defense.
Yeah, there's only 1 yard loss on that play.
Brady Driver looking deep, and he's got Weston Fields on the outside, who's able to break a tackle and walks out of bounds inside the Corsicana 35-yard line. So on a 2nd and 10, Weston Fields is able to get a nice pass from Brady Driver for a first down.
Yeah, great pass reception. Brady Driver's having a fantastic passing game, and mostly because on the receiving end, Weston Fields is on the receiving end of those passes. So great game for both of them, and it's going to be a Hootens Hardware first down deep into Tiger territory on the Corsicana 35-yard line for the Wildcats.
So the Wildcats going to be thinking end zone on this drive, and Brady Driver keeps it himself. He's moving left and gets all the way to the Corsicana 30-yard line. So a 5-yard rush on the 1st and 10 rush.
Brady Driver not afraid to run it like a running back and get some yardage there. I think that play was designed as a quarterback keeper because he didn't hesitate. As the clock is under a minute here for the 3rd quarter, the Wildcats are up 28-21. The Wildcats are slow to get the play called here. There's 17 seconds left on the play clock.
And probably going to get this one last play in before the quarter ends. And he hands it off to Malachi Rowland, who's moving right and is able to get past his offensive lineman, but not much more. So it'll be a 1-yard rush.
He got popped pretty good by number 40 there on the Corsicana Tiger defense, and looked like he grabbed his helmet, turned his helmet around there, but the official didn't see it that way. So again, no yellow flag. It's going to be 3rd and medium here for the Wildcats. Was it about 4 yards there?
Looks to be so.
And looks like we're going to get a timeout. No, that's the end of the quarter. We're going to switch into the field. It's going to be 3rd and 4th for the Wildcats when we come back. They're going to be moving left to right for us now in this last quarter. We'll take a quick break as they switch ends, and we'll be right back.
Wildcat football team have the ball and are up 28-21 entering the 4th quarter. They do have the ball, but they face a 3rd and medium at 3rd and 4 at the Corsicana 34-yard line, or I'm sorry, 29-yard line. So if the Wildcats can get a first down here and maybe even one more, they can, as I was saying before the third quarter came to an end, they can continue to wear out this Tiger defense and put their team in a really good position to get their first win on the season. Chad, can you do me a favor? And you were talking about some of the scores around the district, but I would love to hear them again.
Yes, well, let's see how those games are progressing. We'll run this play, and then I'll get back with you.
Sounds great. So Brady Driver still in at quarterback, number 45, Luke Caton sweeping right, or I'm sorry, that's Carson Fenton. Brady Driver trying to get a pass off, but he is quickly pressured by the Tiger defense, so it will be an incomplete pass. So a 4th and 4 coming up for the Wildcat offense, and decision time for Coach Owens.
Yes, let's see what he's going to say. Maybe call a timeout to talk about it. Still have the offense there on the field. Plenty of time on the play clock. They could try to draw them off sides here with an offensive play and get it down to the wire and call timeout. But let's see. Looks like they're going for it.
They sure are. So in the backfield with Brady Driver is number 9, J.J. Hall, I believe. But, wow, Brady Driver is sacked for a huge loss. So over 10 yards, or about 10 yards. So will be a turnover on downs. And Corsicana Tigers getting the ball back here coming up.
Yes, and some of those scores that you were curious about, Ross, the Ennis is just laying it on Crandall. It's still in the 3rd quarter, and it's 59-14, Ennis over Crandall. So that's as the Corsicana Tigers come out for their 1st and 10 in their own territory, about on their own 38-yard line.
So Tigers getting the ball. Jamarian Lewis looking to his favorite target, number 19, Demarius Daniels, and he's able to run a circle around a Wildcat defender and take it well past the 50 and into Wildcat territory. It'll be down close to the Sulphur Springs 40, and so it'll be a 1st and 10 upcoming for this Tiger offense.
Not sure what happened on that fourth and short there. That play just kind of fell apart for the Wildcats. The field position really probably warranted going for it at that where they were, but especially this late in the game. But here comes another first down for the Tigers.
Lewis hands it off to number 6 in the backfield, and he is quickly taken down by Nick Cantillo on the tackle for about a 3-yard gain.
Yep. Wildcat defense still looking to be in good shape here. You know, this is where we see them late in the game, where they just start to get tired. You know, they've played a long game and played a lot of downs. And the Forney Jackrabbits are over the Greenville Lions 28-0. Another game in our district, Ross.
So with a 2nd and 7, Lewis, he's looking pass all the way, and he's got a target on the outside who's able to kind of beat his defender, but he'll still be tackled. It looks just short of the first down, so a 3rd and inches coming up for the Tiger offense.
Yes, that was Colby Albritton on the defensive play there to wrap that receiver up and take him down. Didn't get any more yardage after he caught that ball, so good pass coverage there by Colby Albritton.
So a 3rd and 1 for the Tigers. Let's see if the Wildcats can't get a stop here, but instead he'll hand it off to number 2, Dante Thomas, and it looks like he might get the first down. The Wildcats are arguing that it'll be just short, but we'll see what the official call on the field is coming up here in a moment. We might need to get the sticks out here to measure it, though.
Well, I wish they would. You know, I'll go back to that game where they just didn't. Well, they're going to move the sticks without even bringing them out. These officials have laser eye focus here that they can see that, and of course they're at least 300 yards closer to the ball than we are up here, but it's 1st and 10 for the Tigers.
With the new set of downs at their own 31-yard line, Lewis gets the call from the sideline. Wildcats showing blitz on the play, and blitzing they are. And wow, it looks like maybe almost for a second there it might have been a fumble on the play, but it was an incomplete pass. The pass from Jamarian Lewis just a little bit out of reach for his target, so will be an incomplete pass.
It was tipped and fell to the ground, and almost Riley Hammonds was kind of right there. I thought he was going to come up with it, but he did not. So it's going to be 2nd and 10. That would have been the 2nd interception for him. That was a huge play that unfortunately the Wildcats didn't capitalize on, didn't get any scores. But it's been back and forth. Nobody's scored here for a little bit. Still 28-21, 10-11 left in the ball game.
2nd and 10 for the Tigers. He hands it off to number 6, and he's able to make it past his offensive line, but then the Wildcats D is very quick to get him. So we'll be about a maybe 3 or 4 yard rush on the play. Looks like it'll be 3, so a 3rd and 7 upcoming for the Tiger offense.
In the last game in our district, the Roy City Bulldogs are over the North Forney Falcons, 42-13. So all some big spreads in the game, in all the games in the district, except for this one. Pretty close game, 28-21, and the Wildcats are over the Tigers. And this is where this Wildcat defense has got to make a big stop right here, as it's a 3rd and long for these Tigers on the Wildcat 28-yard line.
So Lewis in the shotgun. To his left is running back, but instead he passes out to Demarius Daniels again, who looks like he'll get more than enough yardage necessary for the first down.
Oh, yeah, he's a big target for that Corsicana Tiger quarterback, and he's just very quick. Kind of loose coverage there, played on number 19 for that play, and it turned out to be detrimental as the Tigers get a new set of downs.
So with the new set of downs at the Wildcat 16-yard line, the Tigers are in the Wildcat red zone. And once again, he's looking back to the far end zone, but the wide receiver that he wasn't the intended target, I believe that was number 8, Connor Means on the play, was in the end zone, but just not the best throw there from the quarterback Lewis, as the wide receiver there, Means, kind of had to try and come back for it, and as a result kind of tripped and fell. So incomplete pass. It'll be a 2nd and 10 from the Wildcats 16-yard line. The reason I asked about those scores, Chad, was because I don't want to jinx it. The Wildcats do lead 28-21 as a 2nd and 10 is upcoming for the Tigers offense. But Lewis sweeping right. He's got a target, his running back, going with him, but he takes it himself, and he'll be swarmed up by some Wildcat defenders. And the Wildcats are diving for the football. It looks like there may be a fumble on the play, but it looks like that far ref will say that he was down.
Well, number 12 came back up with the ball after he was on the ground, but yeah, that was a big opportunity there for the Wildcats. And then here comes another 3rd and long for these Tigers, and another opportunity for this Wildcat defense.
So yeah, the reason I asked about those scores was because if Sulphur Springs can hang on and get the win today, and those scores that sound like they will stay with Forney beating Greenville and Royce City being North Forney, believe it or not, Chad, the Wildcats, if they can get the win tonight, would move all the way from 8th to 5th place in the district.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so a lot's at stake for this Wildcat team, and wow, a nice pitch there to the running back, who is able to get some solid yardage, it looks like, or maybe not. It looks like he'll be tackled right around the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, and that was Douglas Deloney on the stop there. Just a powerful hit on that running play, and pushed him out of bounds. And so now it's decision time for these Tigers, because it's 4th and more than 5, so they can't draw us off sides and hope for a first down. And it looks like they're going for it. They probably should kick it from here, and they've got 4 different kickers on their roster, but they're going for it. And here comes the timeout. So Corsicana is going to take a timeout and talk about it, and we're going to take a timeout with them. We'll take a short break, and we'll be back in just a moment.
Welcome back to Corsicana in Tiger Stadium as the Wildcats football team lead 28-21 with just over 8 minutes to go here in the ball game. Corsicana does have the ball, and they're inside the Wildcats red zone at the Sulphur Springs 12-yard line, but a big 4th and 6 coming up here for the Tigers offense. And Coach Hal Wasson, before we had a timeout called on the field, had a big decision to make in whether he was going to go for it or simply kick a field goal.
Yeah, it looks like maybe they're sending out a different package this time, but they're still not going to kick it.
No, they're going for it, and I kind of
number 12.
I understand the decision, because the way the Wildcats are moving the football right now, Corsicana might not get another chance with the ball.
Right.
So
8 minutes left in the ball game.
Lewis looking left. He's got his favorite target, or he's looking for his favorite target, and he's got him for a touchdown. Wow.
Yes, receiver outran the defender there and threw it to that back corner again, play that we saw earlier in the game, and that's going to tie it up here. If they can get the extra point through the uprights, that's going to tie up this ball game here in Corsicana. 7:55 left in the ball game. 28-27 right now, but we await that extra point by the Tigers.
Extra kick is up, and it's good. So we've got a tied ball game with under 8 minutes to go here in the 4th quarter. It's all tied up again, 28 all.
7:55 left in the ball game here in Corsicana. Unfortunate turn of events for the Wildcats. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be back with the J. Hodge Chevrolet kickoff in just a moment. And we're back in Corsicana at Tiger Stadium, where it's all tied up here. Wildcat football, 28 all, 7:55 left in this ball game, and that kind of took the wind out of my sails there, Ross. We had a few drives ago, we had Riley Hammonds intercepting the ball. That's our defensive play of the game so far, and then the Wildcats couldn't put points on the board. Then they turned around and got the ball back from Corsicana. Then there was a fumble, and so now the Tigers have tied it up, and they're kicking off here to the Wildcats into the win.
And that's number 6, Colby Albritton on the return. He's able to get past the 30-yard line before he's taken down by some Tiger defenders. So he'll be placed at the 32-yard line, which is where the Wildcats will start the drive.
Yeah, it's going to be 1st and 10 for the Wildcats, kind of an average field position in their own territory. And this is just, I hope I'm going to tell you that while we're going on a break there, the Corsicana Tigers, their team, their fans, the stands, they were all fired up. And it's time for these Wildcats to get fired up. It's a tie ball game, but the Wildcats have the ball, and they need to put some points on the board if they want to stay in this ball game. Brady Driver still in as quarterback.
Driver hands it off to Rowland, and he tries to take it up the gut with his offensive line, but the referee, I think, gave him a pretty generous field position as he got 2 yards on the rush.
Yes, that was just running play all, even though they had some receivers lined up. Got Matthew Sherman on the far side and got Weston Fields here on the near side, and Wildcats moving left to right. 2nd and 8.
Ball at the 34-yard line now. About 7 minutes and a quarter left. So Driver fakes the handoff to Rowland, and he takes off right. He's able to get past the 40-yard line to about the 45.
Yes, great block there by, I think that was Weston Fields blocking down there and made a hole for Brady Driver to get a few extra yards and certainly a first down as they're approaching midfield there. They're going to be on their own 44-yard line. There it is. There's the 44 again. That's about the 9th time I've called it, the 44. It's 1st and 10 for the Wildcats. It's the Hooten's Hardware first down.
Under 7 to go here in this game now. Wildcats have the ball, and it looks like maybe a Tiger might have been offsides, but Brady Driver, he's looking to his favorite target, Weston Fields, on the near sideline, but he was quickly pressured, and there were 2 defenders on Weston Fields, so maybe it's best that ball was overthrown.
Yeah, so definitely we had doubled up the coverage on Weston Fields there. He's been a very favorite target of Brady Driver tonight. That huge 81-yard pass reception, and then another big one. He's got really moving the ball. 2nd down.
Driver fakes the handoff to Rowland, and not a great pass out there. I believe that's to Cable Glenn on the far sideline, and it sure was. And it'll be about a 6-yard reception on the play.
Yeah, I think I know the height gets to us here. I think that was Matthew Sherman. There that's back, number 11 on the far side, and so he a lot of big 3rd down play for these Wildcats.
3rd and 4. Stack formation from the wide receivers, but number 8, Malachi Rowland sweeping right. Brady Driver fakes the handoff, and he's passing out to C.J. Williams, who has the reception and the first down. And took a little while for the play to be blown dead, but it is blown dead at what should be the Corsicana 40-yard line.
Boy, he gave a second effort there and spun out of that tackle, but didn't get back to the forward progress that he had already achieved. And so we're deep into Tiger territory now on the Tiger 39-yard line. It's a Hooten's Hardware first down for these Wildcats.
Under 5.5 to go here in the game. Wildcats have the ball at the Corsicana 39-yard line. Brady Driver, he's looking deep, and just out through his wide receiver and kind of just out through the defender too. So I bet Brady Driver's taking a bit of a breath of relief as that pass fell incomplete and wasn't intercepted. So it will be a 2nd and 10 from the Corsicana 39.
It looks like that was Landon Fields, the intended receiver on that play, and he checks out for the next play. Matthew Sherman's back in. I've got Weston Fields here on the near side, and then on the far side in the slot position, I've got looks like C.J. Williams over there.
2nd and 10 for the Wildcats, again at the 39 for Corsicana. And C.J. Williams sweeps right, but Brady Driver keeps it himself. He's taking it to the far sideline. He's all the way past the 35 and the 30. He's pushed out of bounds, inside the Corsicana 30. That will be a first down, Wildcats.
Yeah, great effort by Brady Driver there as he scrambled and took that one. He got about 12 yards, I think, on that play. He's going to move it down to the Tiger 7-yard line, maybe.
It would appear to be so. So with a new set of downs, the Wildcats have the ball at the Corsicana 27-yard line, just over 5 minutes to go. Driver's run out of bounds did stop the clock, though. Not exactly what they're looking for as they look to close out this game with a victory, but he does hand it off to, I believe, number 8, Malachi Rowland, who takes it, sweeps it right, and is able to get inside the Corsicana 20, so the Wildcats in the Corsicana red zone.
Oh, and Malachi Rowland's slow to get up on that play. Kind of limping his right foot, maybe. I think he's going to check himself out for this next play. They send in number 9, and he's clock stopped at 4. Nope, now the clock's running, 4:23.
So J.J. Hall in the backfield with a Driver now after Malachi Rowland went down, but Driver keeps it himself, and he's inside the Corsicana 10-yard line out of bounds. So that, again, will stop the clock, but he is inside the Corsicana 10-yard line.
Well, this Wildcat offense is doing a great job of moving the ball down here, and they're knocking on the door of another score here. Second and about 4 yards to go for a new set of downs, but 10 yards just to get into the end zone.
So play clock winding down, about 15 seconds left on it, but 4:15 left here to go in the game. The game is all tied up, 28-all. Wildcats have the ball at the Corsicana 10, and he hands it off to, I believe that was J.J. Hall in the rush, and it looks like he got the yardage necessary for the first down.
Yeah, he stretched out, and while he was still on top of one of the defenders, and the official on the far side is waving his hand, meaning let's move the sticks. They drop the sticks and move the ball marker down to the 5-yard line. It's going to be first and goal for these Wildcats on the 5-yard line.
So obviously the objective here is to get a touchdown, not settle for a field goal, and allow Corsicana to potentially win this game before the end of regulation. But if the Wildcats can take as much time off of this clock, again, they only have 6 yards to go until the end zone, but if they can get a touchdown but also take as much time off the clock as possible, they stand a very good chance of winning this game. Driver keeps it himself, and he looks like he's powering his way into the end zone, and he gets it. Touchdown, Brady Driver.
And Northeast Texas Farmers Co-op says, way to go, Wildcats, and way to go, Brady Driver, for the quarterback keeper and taking it up the middle there, fighting his way in. That second and third effort put it into the end zone and put 6 points on the board for the Wildcats, 34-28 above the Corsicana Tigers as we await that extra point attempt.
So Ariano seeing if he can't go 5 for 5 on the night. Kick is up. And it's good. So a 35-28 ball game, and quarterback Brady Driver just got his 5th touchdown on the night.
Fantastic. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be back with the kickoff here in just a moment.
Welcome back to Corsicana. As we're here at Tiger Stadium, we've got a real tight ball game as the Wildcats were just able to take the lead 35-28 with quarterback Brady Driver taking it 6 yards out on a rushing touchdown, and that is the 5th touchdown for Brady Driver in the game. But not only that, with 35 points here in this game, the Wildcats have officially scored the most points they have in a game all season long.
Yes, and here we're coming out. The Wildcats are about to kick off the Jayhawk Chevrolet kickoff, something they've done several times tonight because of all the scores they put on the board. And 3:26 left in this ball game. The Wildcats are up 35-28. Just a touchdown and an extra point separates them, and the Tigers will get the ball here on this kickoff, and then they only have 2 timeouts and 3:26 on the clock.
Oh, wow, a bit of a muffed kickoff there, and it looks like he will start to take it, and he will be deep in his own territory. He'll be taken down at the Corsicana 1-yard line.
Fantastic special teams play there by the Wildcats as a bad decision by the receiver for the for the Tigers. We're going to also have a player down right now. We're going to have an injury timeout. We're going to hear from a couple of sponsors, and we'll be back in just a moment. And we're back at Tiger Stadium. Colby Albritton was down on the play, but he's walked off under his own power. The Tigers are pushed back on the 1-inch line.
And a beautiful tackle there by the Wildcat defender. That was number 4, Colt Silman, who wrapped up the very good wide receiver, Demarius Daniels, number 19 on the outside. So what could have been another big gain by the wide receiver is instead just kept to 4 yards on the reception.
And that pushes them back out to about their own 5-yard line. They're still pushed back deep as this Wildcat defense is dialing it up.
2nd and 6 here for the Tigers, and he hands it off to number 6, the running back, but it looks like he'll be tackled right about the line of scrimmage, so no gain on the rush.
Yeah, that muffed kickoff return was a blessing for this Wildcat defense. The special teams got in there and wrapped that kickoff returner up and almost pushed him back in his own end zone, which would have been fantastic. But they tackled him on the 1-yard line.
So not only do the Tigers need to get 6 yards on this 3rd down, they also need to get a touchdown, and they are in their own 5-yard line. So a nice reception there by the wide receiver. Hard to tell from up here who that was, but looks like he'll have enough yardage for the 1st down. We'll see what the call is.
It was number 1, and they're going to give him that. Nope, he's going to call him out of bounds there about the 9-yard line.
So just short, and being down a touchdown, Corsicana has to go for it. So if the Wildcats can get a big stop here on 4th and 2, this game will be all but iced.
2:11 left on the game clock, and so it's big time for both, big time play for both sides on the ball.
4th and 2. They hand it off, and it looks like he'll get the 1st down necessary, and boy did he, as he pushed up to the 15-yard line and past that all the way to about, well, the
20-yard line.
Yeah, the group of people just kept moving, so he's pushed all the way to the 20, so a nice game there. And under 2 minutes to go here as Corsicana, again, looking to tie the game up. They still have 80 yards to go, and 2 timeouts the Tigers have.
Yep.
But again, under 2 minutes to go, and they have to travel 80 yards to at least send this game to overtime. But we'll see if they can do that. 1st and 10 here for the Tigers. At their own 20, Lewis is looking left, and he's got his favorite target, Demarius Daniels, and he is taken down by some Wildcat defenders.
Colt Silman again.
And it looks like Daniels was able to get 5 yards in the reception, so it will be a 2nd and 5. Clock still ticking as he was tackled inbounds. Under a minute and a half to go. They still have to travel 75 yards down the field, so you have to wonder how many of these bubble screens they're going to keep throwing to that receiver Daniels.
And they're letting too much time run off the clock, 1:15 and counting.
Lewis, this one's going deep, and he's got a wide receiver deep. 40, 35, 30, 25, 20, 15, 10, 5, touchdown Corsicana.
Well, just a beautifully executed play there for those Corsicana Tigers, and they got that receiver open very quickly, and he made it all the way down. Now it's decision time for these Corsicana Tigers if they're going to go for 2 here or kick the field goal, and looks like they're going to kick the field goal and tie it up. So let's see if the special teams can get it in there, because it's just 34-35, the Wildcats over the Tigers awaiting this extra point.
Wildcats thinking block all the way, and one player got a nice jump on the play, but that was Colt Silman who got a nice jump off the snap, but I believe he'll be called offsides. The kick, I believe, was good, so I'm sure it'll be declined.
5-yard penalty, retried.
Okay, it'll be retried. Oh, wow.
That's going to be offsides, on the offense. So that's why he jumped, because somebody moved. So they're going to back the ball up there. It's going to be 5 yards to the negative there for the Tigers. It's going to be a little bit tougher kick for this kicker, and hopefully a good special teams play here.
Big kick coming up here for Corsicana. Looks like a player. Colt Silman again got a nice jump on it, but instead the kick is up and it's good. So we've got a tied ball game here, 35-35 with just over a minute to go in the game.
1 minute and 3 seconds left on the clock. We're waiting this next kickoff with the Wildcats to get the ball and with their 3 timeouts. We'll take a very quick break and we'll be back in just a moment. And we're back at Tiger Stadium. It's a very exciting ball game as it's tied up 35-all. The Wildcats and the Tigers 35 apiece, and there's only 63 seconds left on that game clock. Wildcats are about to get the ball after the Tigers have tied it up. I'm not looking for an onside kick here. I think they're going to, I don't know what they're going to do. They're probably going to kick it deep, and all the Wildcats need to do is get down and kick a field goal. So here comes the J. Hodge Chevrolet kickoff. It's kind of a high, short kick.
And Matthew Mitchell wisely calls for the fair catch. It will be downed at about the 26-yard line. So that's where the Wildcats will start with the ball to see if they can't get a field goal with just over a minute to go and win this game before the end of regulation.
They have all 3 of their timeouts, but it's a long way to go. The Tigers just did it on a big bomb of a play on their last drive and went 75 yards. So maybe time to dial up Weston Fields here and get him running down the field. He can outrun his defender. I've got trying to see who's on the far side over there, if that's Matthew Sherman again or...
No doubt Corsicana is thinking the exact same thing as you were just mentioning, Chad. Keep your eyes on number 16. And instead, they hand it off. An interesting call here, but Malachi Rowland is able to get 5 yards on the rush, so not a bad gain on first down. They make it a 2nd and 5, and kind of surprised a timeout hasn't been called on the field.
Yep.
But clock continues to roll. About 45 seconds left to go here in the game, and I have to wonder if maybe Coach Owens thinks that maybe his team can win this in overtime, but they are not rushing back to the line of scrimmage. So if they're going to try and win this game, they're probably going to try and do it on this play. And he fakes the handoff. He's looking deep. He's got a wide receiver, but he's held.
Oh, yeah.
Yes,
Come
and
on,
there's
throw the flag.
Play.
Yep, there's the flag. Now, we'll see if it's holding or pass interference there. Certainly pass interference. That stops the clock at 25 seconds. They still have 3 timeouts that they probably should have used at least one of those already, but we're not going to try to second-guess play clock management by Greg Owens. Here comes the call. The official's still talking about it.
So just as you were talking about, Chad, it's a pass interference call, so it'll move from the 29-yard line all the way to the 44.
Yep, big 15-yard penalty. It's going to make it automatic first down, of course. And we'll have to tell somebody with the ball marker over there. He's got a number 2 up there. It's going to be 1st and 10 from the Wildcat 44-yard line. Yet again, Ross.
My goodness.
Right, bet it all on 44.
So 25 seconds left to go. The Wildcats still have all 3 timeouts. And wow, Brady Driver is pressured and sacked. So a timeout will be called.
Yes, 17 seconds left on the game clock. He's sacked for a huge loss. I see a flag on the play. It may be extended tackling there. The ball had gotten loose. And
Coach Hal Wasson is on the field, the head coach for Corsicana, and I think he knows it's called against his team. I believe defender there was probably called for taunting. We'll see what the call is here.
Unsportsmanlike conduct, number 54 of the defense, 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
So what would have been a huge sack of quarterback Brady Driver instead is an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty. So 2 extremely costly penalties for this Tiger defense has allowed the Wildcats to stay in this football game and potentially still move a little bit closer to getting a field goal. But instead, Coach Greg Owens calling a timeout. That'll be the first of 3, and still 2 more. 17 seconds left to go here in this game. Wildcats to see if they can't win this game before the end of regulation. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Tiger Stadium here in Corsicana, and we've got a game that's coming all the way down to the wire as we've got a tied ball game with just 17 seconds left to go, all tied up, 35 all. The Wildcats have the football on their own side of the field, but pretty close to being in Corsicana territory at the Wildcat 47-yard line.
It's time for a big play here, Ross. Just don't have enough time left on the clock, even with 2 timeouts left. They've got a lot of field. They've got 53 yards to make up here, so...
The good news is if they can get about 20, maybe even 30 yards, they put the Arianos in great position to kick a game-winning field goal. Brady Driver, wow. And something
that was kind of a busted play there. He threw it into two defenders, and the receiver for the Wildcats was not even in the same zip code. So I'm not sure what happened there. I would guess the intended receiver was Colt Silman there, but he had cut across the middle. Is that what you think? Or?
Yeah, I think so. But then again, it's kind of hard to tell. I think that there was some miscommunication on the wide receiver's part because just like you were saying, not a wide receiver in the same zip code. So a big 2nd down and 10 coming up. 10 seconds to go on the clock. Driver has to leave the pocket because there's a lot of pressure. And, oh, my goodness, the pass to Weston Fields is incomplete. So 3 seconds left to go, so it looks like it'll be Hail Mary time for this Wildcat offense.
Yep, won't be able to kick it from here. And even if Weston had snagged that ball and stepped out of bounds, it still was not close enough and gained enough yardage to make it a good kick. It looks like they're just going to kneel it down right here. No receivers lined up for 3 seconds. Well, they're going to kneel that down. We're going to go into overtime. We'll hear from some of our sponsors and be back in just a moment and give you the rules for the overtime of this Wildcat football game, tied up at 35 all. We'll be back in just a moment. And we're back at Tiger Stadium where the coaches are out on the field to receive the rules for overtime here at this high school football game. And then they're also going to have a coin flip. So they're explaining the rules, and now the coin gets flipped and called, and it looks like possibly the Tigers have won it. I don't know.
Yeah, it appears so. Coach Owens will pick in the direction.
Elected to be on defense first. Sulphur Springs has decided this in the field. We can go from 25, first down.
Okay, and
Corsicana wins the coin toss. They defer, so they'll be on defense first. So they're putting all the onus on the Wildcat offense, and probably rightfully so, because this the Tiger offense, they got a 75-yard touchdown pass to Connor Means on their last possession. The Wildcats, their drive stalled before the end of regulation, so weren't able to kick that field goal before the end. So now we are here in overtime.
Yes, first overtime game the Wildcats have had in a long while. I wouldn't even want to go back to the archives, try to figure out when the last one was. But the Wildcats will get the ball on the what will be the Tiger 25-yard line. And so refresh my memory, Ross, about the overtime rules.
So both teams will get a chance to get the ball. So Sulphur Springs starts with the ball. So if they score a touchdown, Corsicana has a chance to get a touchdown of their own. If Sulphur Springs kicks a field goal and Corsicana gets a touchdown in their ensuing drive, then Corsicana wins. But it's not the sudden death rules that you see in the NFL.
Right.
So Brady Driver still in that quarterback. In the backfield with him, I believe, is number 8, Malachi Rowland, number 45, Luke Caton, sweeping left. And hands it off to Rowland, and he's able to take it up the gut for what should be about a 6 or 7 yard gain.
Yeah, great run.
Instead, they'll give him 5 on the rush, so it will be a gain of 5 for Malachi Rowland on 1st and 10. So we'll make it a 2nd and 5 for this Wildcat offense. And the best advice I can give them, Coach Owens, I know you can't hear me, but just keep continuing to grind out the clock. Keep gassing this defense.
Yep.
And oh boy, there was a Tiger in the backfield, and Malachi Rowland, as a result, was only able to get 2 yards on the rush, so a 3rd and 3 coming up for the Wildcat offense. Big 3rd down for this Wildcat offense. First drive for either team here in overtime, and you definitely want to start it with a touchdown to set the tone for this overtime.
Got Weston Fields lined up here on the near side by our sideline, and then got Landon Fields on the far sideline. C.J. Williams in the slot on the near side.
And Driver hands it off to Rowland again, and it looked like no, he'll be tackled short. So, and wow, it looks like maybe he didn't even get back to the line of scrimmage. It looks like he'll do just that, get back to the line. So a big decision time for Coach Greg Owens and his program. But
right, do you kick it? Yep.
He's going to kick it.
So going to be kicking the line of scrimmage is going to be at the about the 18-yard line. So that's going to make it about a 30-yard. He's going to be kicking right there from the 25, so about a 35-yard field goal. The Corsicana side of the field here getting very excited, trying to put our kicker off.
Arianos' kick is up, and it's good. So the Wildcats take the lead on the first drive here in overtime. It came thanks to a field goal by Arianos, a 31-yard field goal, which will again give the Wildcats a 38-35 lead here in overtime.
We'll take a quick break and we'll be back, and Corsicana will get the ball in just a moment. And we're back here at Tiger Stadium. The Corsicana Tigers are coming out to get the ball, and they'll start on the 25, going the same way the Wildcats did for these overtime rules. And now they have to put it in the end zone to win, or they kick a field goal, and it's tied.
Lewis, and he's got his wide receiver, his favorite target. I believe that was number 19. Yes, it sure was, and he got almost enough yardage for the first down on a 1st and 10. So yep. Daniels is able to power his way to what will be about a 2nd and inches.
Yep, he got 9 3/4 yards on that one. It's just pushed right up against the almost to the 15-yard line where he needs to get.
2nd and 1, hands it off, and number 6 looks like he almost got wrapped up, but instead he's able to get past the defender and get through his line for a 1st down.
Yeah, he made the second effort there to get that 1st down, and so yeah, that was number 6 on the carry. 19 was lined up as a receiver out there.
New set of downs for Corsicana after the first down rush. So, or I'm sorry, the 2nd down rush. So will be a 1st and 10 from the Wildcat 13-yard line. And they hand it off once again, and it looks like he's got a touchdown. And Corsicana gets the touchdown. They win 41-38 in OT.
Heartbreaking overtime loss for these Wildcats, who played a great game and did a great job all throughout the game, but the Corsicana Tigers come and tied it up, send it to overtime, and now have won with a touchdown in these overtime rules. So they don't even have to kick that extra point. They'll take the 6 points and make it 41-38. The Corsicana Tigers over your Sulphur Springs Wildcats. A hard-fought battle here in Corsicana, Texas at Tiger Stadium.
So they are lining up for the extra point.
Oh, they are.
I'll be honest. Every other game I've seen where it goes to overtime, you get the touchdown.
Right.
The game is over.
Right, the game is over. So
I'm a little interested with the fact that they're actually kicking this, but. So after applying a little bit of salt in the wound,
right,
the Corsicana Tigers go up 42-38, and that will be the final score here in Corsicana in overtime, as the Wildcats football team just couldn't really get it done on their first drive in overtime, and they lose to Corsicana 42-38.
So a hard-fought game here in Corsicana. The Wildcats put on a very impressive game on both sides of the ball and come up on the losing end of a unbelievable heartbreaker for these Wildcats. Greg Owens not be on the coach's show tomorrow. He will be, but you'll have another coach in, and he'll discuss the game, and then we'll be back in Gerald Prim Stadium next week to face against Greenville, who will be in town for our next game next Friday night on Stew Cook-Off weekend. So that's going to do it for us here in Corsicana. Another heartbreaker for this Wildcat team. They fought it up to the very end and into overtime, but came up short, 42-38. You can see this game replayed on Channel 18 and, of course, our YouTube channel, KSST Radio. For Ross Levinsky, I'm Chad Young, and Doug Hastings on our camera tonight, as well as James Terry back at the studio. We thank you for listening in, and we'll see you here next week. That'll do it for us here in Corsicana as the Wildcats lose 42-38.